بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام.
يستهزئون فأهلكنا أشد منهم بطشا ومضى مثل الأولين.
حبيب الله
إذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه.
This is waswasa from Shaitan, that he says that the companion make mistake. What? The prophets make mistakes. جاءه الأعمى عفى الله عنك لما أذنت لهم حتى يتبين لك الذين صدقوا وتعلم الكاذبين.
عليك يا سيدي، عليك يا
السلام عليكم.
Where's Yasin?
He's coming up in a minute. Alright, thank you. Gives at least 5 minutes to express his point of view. What does he believe? what is his expression, what is his perspective. Each one gives what he has. And then we go to the debate.
Each one gives on bid'ah or generally?
No, bid'ah. Yeah, on bid'ah. Each one gives what's his perspective. So people will understand what is your point of view, what is our point of view. That's a suggestion. Shall we start after Aisha or before?
I think you can start, but yesterday this is what I was trying to get to. We were to speak about the ta'if of bid'ah and the hadith that you give, and this was dealt with quite well yesterday. Alhamdulillah, we'll start again. You can give a tafsir of your understanding of bid'ah. Inshallah, then we will give out.
Thank you very much for that.
5 minutes, okay, goes fast.
Are you okay to be the timer, or would you like somebody else?
No, to be the time, it's good, inshallah. The brother was very calm yesterday. He looks nice. The brother was fair and just also. We'd like to have good atmosphere. The atmosphere is very important. No interference. I know we have many new brothers, but we don't want any interference. And the first thing I'd like to ask my own people, are you with us, brother? Yes. Are you with us or against us? Okay, the brothers from our side, can we have you controlled, or you may be?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what about?
Alhamdulillah, those will be controlled. It's spoken.
Okay. No problem.
We start?
Yeah. Before I'd like to ask, because some brothers they were upset. They said many did not say wa alaikum assalam when we say salam alaikum. Do you consider us guys we're Muslims or we're not Muslims?
I consider you Ahlul Bid'ah. I gave salam when I walked in. I'm sure
How do you consider me bid'ah?
I speak about this.
And I criticize bid'ah. I came to criticize bid'ah. How can I be?
It's because of your lack of understanding of the word bid'ah. We can
Sorry?
discuss about it. This is because of your lack of
Yeah,
understanding.
no problem.
I'll speak later.
So we're Muslims.
Until inshallah I know that you are Muslims, until I find out kufr in
Some
you.
brothers are upset yesterday. You said to them, you're kafir.
We speak about this at the end.
Okay, that's the point then. We
I
asked you to
consider
say
you
you're not kafir,
as of yet.
but now you don't want to answer if you said it yesterday or not.
No, I didn't say it. I'm not saying I didn't say it, but we can speak as to why I said it later. As if you are Muslim or not, alhamdulillah, I believe you to be Muslim, but from Ahlul Bid'ah, and I gave salam when I walked in. So let's start the discussion, inshallah, and we'll take it from there. Jazakallah khair.
Oh yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
5 minutes starts.
Shall we start?
Yeah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We came here to criticize bid'ah and we call for sunnah. So we are Ahl Sunnah. And the other side, they came to defend bid'ah and to prove bid'ah. I don't know, how do they call themselves? The people of sunnah, while we are the people of bid'ah. We believe that the ruling of matter of ibadah, worship, is based on what the Prophet did. And it is enough for us to do what the Prophet did, because the best one who worshipped Allah is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is no one ever better than the Prophet in worshipping Allah. So, and we are going to die before we accomplish what the Prophet did. So why do we have to add? This is our point of view. So we don't only seek to get closer to Allah by doing what the Prophet did, but also by leaving what the Prophet did not do. And the innovator is deprived from al-hawd, the pool. And he is subjected to be deprived from the forgiveness of Allah and from the loving of Allah, because Allah said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, say, if you love Allah, then obey me. Allah then will love you and forgive your sins. So if you want to achieve Allah's forgiveness and love, obey that messenger, whom Allah had sent to be obeyed. Not to defend how to go beyond what the Prophet did and to add what the Prophet, more than what the Prophet. Not to defend how to go beyond what the Prophet did and to add what the Prophet, more than what the Prophet did. This is a very important point, and we came for that. And the one who has taqwa and God feeling in his heart, he'll be taking precaution. He'll be cautious away from things that, doubtful things that it may shake or it may affect his faith. So why do we have to commit bid'ah? Isn't what the Prophet did enough? Isn't religion complete or not complete? Allah said, "Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum." When He said, "Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum," did He complete the religion with sunnah or with bid'ah? Did He complete His religion with sunnah or with bid'ah? So why do we have to add? Bid'ah is the reason for division, because I may not agree with you with the bid'ah you're innovating. So, but we can get together on the sunnah that we agree that the Prophet did. And that will be minimizing the differ and the division in this ummah, in which the ummah needs too much to be united. And I think emphasizing bid'ah will not be helping on the unity of the ummah. And I'm saying these things from my heart. So you're going to die before accomplishing the worship that the Prophet was doing. You're gonna die before that. You're going to die before even accomplishing maybe 5% of what the Prophet worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you want to do something more? What is the purpose? What is the reason? What is the benefit? We believe that the Prophet ﷺ died, and the Prophet, he did not order us to celebrate his birthday. And after he died, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ did not celebrate his birthday, and the Tabi'un died without celebrating his birthday, in which had been started by the Fatimis people, the Fatimis, the Shia. As Muhammad Bakhid al-Muti'i and many other scholars, the Mufti of Egypt, he admitted it, that the first people who started this, stop the mobile please. The first people who started this Mawlid al-Nabawi are the Fatimis. Christians celebrate the birthday of their Prophet. Do we allow them? Do we say it's not allowed for them, but it's allowed for us? That's not fair. And the other prophets may be upset with us because we're celebrating the birthday of the Prophet, but we're not celebrating the birthday of many other prophets. Why not? So, I say, the Shafi'i rahimahullah said, وَلَكِنَّنَا نَتَّبِعُ السُّنَّةَ فِعْلًا وَتَرْكًا. We follow the sunnah by the do's of the Prophet and by the things that the Prophet did not do. That's what Shafi'i said, rahimahullah. So, al-asl fil ibadah, the ruling in matters.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم افتح علينا فتوح العارفين ووفقنا توفيق الصالحين وانفعنا اللهم بالقرآن والذكر الحكيم إنك على كل شيء قدير. I'd like to start saying, before giving the khutbah, whatever the brother has presented about bid'ah, i.e. bid'ah dalalah, bid'ah which is considered as misguidance from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah accept that. We are Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah and come to bring the Sunnah to the brothers. Now, the problem we've had as of yesterday was the understanding of the word bid'ah, the ta'rif, the definition of the word bid'ah. As yesterday, the brother was not able to bring people, ulama, salaf al-salihin, to confirm the definition that he provided. This is where the problem occurs. If we are not able to define bid'ah properly, we'll never get to a conclusion. Let me start from the hadith, from the statement of Sufyan ibn Uyayna, radiallahu ta'ala an, when he said, hadith is mudillah illa lil fuqaha. Hadith will be misguiding people except for the fuqaha, the scholars. Until the scholars are not able to determine which hadith is applied where, we can never be guided. The brother mentioned about unity, going against the mujtahid imams, the imams of this ummah, the great muhaddithun. This is going against unity. We must unite upon the ulama, our salaf. And if we unite upon them from the words, as should be made clear today, inshallah, what they understood bid'ah to mean, And it is only correct for the brother to come back to the ulama, the salaf, and the great scholars of this ummah. WAHABI in Siyar A'lam al-Nubala, he mentions قال الأسم حدثنا ربيع قال شافعي المحدثات من الأمور ضربان ما أحدث يخالف كتابا أو سنة أو أثر أو إجماع. الأصم narrates that Rabi said, that Imam Shafi'i said, المحدثات من الأمور ضربان. Newly invented things are of two types. Two types. Newly invented things are of two types. What has been invented going against the book, the sunnah, the athar and the ijma', فهذه البدعة ضلالة, then this bid'ah is misguidance, and this is what we believe in. وأما أحدث من الخير لا خلاف فيه لواحد من هذا. And as for the newly invented thing upon goodness, then there is no اختلاف, no khilaf amongst the scholars about this. فهذه محدثة غير مذمومة, and this newly invented thing is not criticized. قد قال عمر في قيام رمضان, indeed Umar Amir al-Mu'mineen said in Ramadan, نعمة البدعة هذه, this is a good bid'ah, يعني أنها محدثة لم تكن, i.e. this was a bid'ah that did not take place in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Our mawqaf, as the Buddha asked for 5 minutes to explain yourself, I've explained it from the Salaf. The Salaf make it clear that there are two types of bid'ah. Imam Shafi'i, from this sanad and other asani that I shall give inshallah, which the brother criticized yesterday, inshallah, showing our understanding of the word bid'ah is from the Salaf and the Imam of this A'imma. People like An-Nawawi, people like As-Suyuti, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, people like Qadi Abu Bakr ibn Arabi, people like Shaykh al-Islam Izzuddin ibn Abdul Salam, people like Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, people like Imam al-Suyuti, the great Imam of this ummah, whom everybody agrees upon, from the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. I will give their statements proving what bid'ah means exactly as Imam al-Shafi'i has said. Our mawqaf of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is upholding the Sunnah, upholding the Quran in the way that Rasulullah left it, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The brother, and the aim is not to criticize everything he said. He mentioned birthdays of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, nothing to do with the topic. If we work out what is bid'ah, we'll work out what is the hukam on Mawlid al-Nabi Sharif. He also mentioned who started this, but to my knowledge of Al-Hawil al-Fatawa Imam Suyuti, he quotes Ibn Kathir in Bidayah al-Nihaya, that the people who started this was a Malik al-Muzaffar from the Ayyubis, not as he quoted, unfortunately. But that is an irrelevant matter that I don't need to go upon. The Sunnah is what we hold. If the Sunnah tells us this is good bid'ah, this is bad bid'ah, the ulama understand this in the Sunnah, what bid'ah means, this is what we stick with. We don't come to call to anything else other than the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. As the Buddha saying, did Rasulullah not do everything good and was there nothing left out? Let me give an example. The compilation of the Quran.
Okay, stop. Are we going to take 3 minutes now?
5 inshallah.
5 for each.
Can we, if we stop, would you like
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
would you like to propose a timing for that? Would you like to speak for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Something that's practical.
Say 9 p.m. inshallah.
What time are we on now?
7:38.
This class that's going to be at the end, we are going to give 15 minutes for the question answers. There's going to be question answers at the end.
I don't have a problem, it's just that me and him should be speaking.
No, it will be you
Should be
only,
me.
but at the end.
It should be me and him speaking. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It should be only me and him speaking. Yeah, Bismillah, inshallah.
5 minutes starts.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My question is addressed to him. Is the religion completed or not completed? And did the Prophet Muhammad, I'd like you to write down the questions, okay? Is the religion completed or it's not completed? And also, did the Prophet know about, for example, we're talking about, see, sometimes we give rules and sometimes we give examples. So if we, from time to time, touch the issue of the birthday of the Prophet, because it's considered to us as a matter of bid'ah, so we have to use it as an example. So for example, the question is, did the Prophet know about this celebration of birthday, or he didn't know about it? If he knew about it, why didn't he declare it to us? Why didn't he convey it to us? The other thing you mentioned about Shafi'i, you said that Shafi'i said that the innovations are. I wonder, why didn't you, from the beginning, bringing the authenticity of this narration? And I mentioned to you that what Abu Nu'aym fil Hilya mentioned yesterday is not authentic. The problem is with Abdullah bin Muhammad al-Atashi, as well as Yahya bin Harmala. Regarding the narration in Al-Bayhaqi, it has the problem of Muhammad ibn Musa al-Fadl, and he is unknown. And now, what disprove this narration from Al-Bukhari, Shafi'i, is what we find in the book of Al-Shafi'i. Al-Shafi'i said, Al-istihsanu تلذذ ولو جاز الاستحسان في الدين لجاز ذلك لأهل العقول من غير أهل الإيمان ولجاز أن يشرع في الدين في كل باب وأن يخرج الإنسان لنفسه دينا جد أو شرعا جديدا. Al-Shafi'i is saying that istihsan means to think that this is a good thing to be done is a matter of desire. It's a following desire matter. And if this was allowed for anyone, that means many people will be establishing a sharia for themselves. That's why he says, مَنْ اسْتَحْسَنَ فَقَدْ شَرَّعَ. Whoever thought that he can bring something by what he desires, that he's making a law in a matter of worship. He mentioned that in his book Al-Risala and Kitab al-Umm, volume number 7, page 94, sorry. And Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he said that what Al-Shafi'i mentioned is about a thing that has a base in the matter of Sharia, something to be done. And he said that this is a linguistic bid'ah that he meant. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali said it. He said, وَإِنَّمَا هِيَ بِدْعَةٌ لُغَةً لَا شَرْعًا لِمُوَافَقَتِهَا السُّنَّةِ. Something like, for example, having a minarets today for the mosques. Okay? It's something that had not been at the lifetime of the Prophet. Then now we have the minarets. Is it in a matter of innovation? Despite As-Suyuti said, it is a matter of innovation, and he wrote a book about that. إعلام الأريب, that these maharib are bid'ah. Despite As-Suyuti, he divided bid'ah into two categories. Now he's contradicting himself, As-Suyuti. So, this is the bid'ah based on Bilal radiallahu anhu, who is standing at the high place in order to make adhan. And this minaret is a high place. So, this is linguistically is a matter of bid'ah. But it has a basis from the sunnah. So this is what scholars meant. Al-Shafi'i in his books criticized the matter of bid'ah. And he said, istihsan is tashri'. So you're not allowed to make law by your desire. And he said, we follow what the Prophet did, and we follow the Prophet in the thing that he did not do. That is narrated by him according to what Ibn Hajar in Fath al-Bari mentioned. So I have, regarding you said that I did not bring the definition. Today you did not bring the definition as well.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Unfortunately, I think the brother spent 5 minutes speaking about istihsan. Maybe he doesn't realize istihsan is a far'i issue in the Hanafi school, which the Shafi went against. Nothing to do with iqtida, completely two different things. Unfortunately, I think the brother does not understand that issue. The first question, is the religion complete? اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. Rasulullah made the deen complete. Did he know about celebrations or not? Yes, he did. And also we can ask and answer and discuss this inshallah at a later date, the whole topic of Mawlid al-Nabawi, al-Sharif, if the brother would like to discuss, it's not a problem. Examples are only good and useful when they are under the definition. Definition is to be understood first. In the 5 minutes, the Buddha was not able to give something clear to me to even work upon for him. Anyway, did you know about the birthday? Yes, he knew about mutashabihat as well. But do we know about them? No. He mentioned Abdullah bin Muhammad al-Atashi for the narration of a Shafi'i. In Sirah Alam al-Nubala of a WAHABI, there is no Abdullah bin Muhammad al-Atashi. He brought a narration that he's weakening himself. I didn't give that narration. I gave the sanad of Zahabi, where he said, Al-Asam, Haddathana Rabi, Qala Shafi'i. If you want to make tad'if a Shafi'i, alhamdulillah. If you want to make tad'if of Rabi and Asam, the famous people, you can do so. I give you the second sanad from Jami' Ulum al-Hikam of Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. He quotes the same thing, and the sanad is وقد روى الحافظ أبو نعيم بإسناده عن إبراهيم بن جنيد حدثنا حرملة بن يحيى, not Yahya ibn Harmala, Harmala ibn Yahya. It's a mistake again, unfortunately, on the other side. قال سمعت الشافعي رحمه الله يقول the same thing. Al-Albani, just to prove Al-Albani relied upon this book in Jarh al-Ta'dil. Taqrib al-Tahdhib, he relied upon it. This is a book that he relied upon in Usul al-Hadith in Jarh al-Ta'dil. Harmalat ibn Yahya ibn Harmalat ibn Iran. Who is this man? Abu Hafsin, the Buddha said is majhul, is unknown yesterday. He is Abu Hafs al-Misri, Sahib al-Shafi'i. He is the companion of Imam Shafi'i. Sudukun, trustworthy. How are you making a sanad weak when Taqrib al-Tahdhib is telling you that he's Suduk and he's not majhul? He's Sahib al-Shafi'i. Making things up is not allowed in Islam. Making things up is not allowed. I gave you now 2 narrations. One with no Abdullah in there, Atashi. I didn't give him. Secondly, he gave the Hilya narration. I've given from Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. He backs it up. He accepts the narration. Want to read it back?
You have to bring the sanad, change.
I've read the sanad and I'll read it again. It's on recording. Actually, I haven't got time to read it. I've read it. It's on recording. And I read Hamlet ibn Yahya there, who he quoted, misquoted. I quoted Taqrib al-Tahdhib to show he's Saduq and to show that he's not majhul. He is Sahib al-Shafi'i, showing that the sanad is correct. Now that both al-Asanid are correct, one by al-Zahabi in Sirah Alam al-Nubala, one by Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, quoting al-Hilya, saying the sanad is correct. It is upon the brother now to establish if the sanad, these that I've given, if they are correct, then accept the aqwal of the Salaf. That bid'ah are of types. The bid'ah dalala, we all agree. They are mazmuma, mukhta'a fi deen. We leave them alone, we don't touch them. But as which is bid'ah hasana, which is also being called bid'ah lughawiyya by Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali in Jami' Ulum al-Hikam, which the brother quoted, and he only quoted a bit. How long do I have left?
1.5, just under 1.5.
I'll read out to you what Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali says on that topic. Inshallah, I'll read it out when he's doing his talk, so I have my time not to waste over there, inshallah.
1 minute.
As for the Buddha saying what scholars meant, I give you, and I gave you before a Shafi'i, and I gave you 2 sons of Shafi'i to say that bid'ah is of types. Let me give you now, number 2. قال الحافظ ابن حجر الحجر الاسقلاني شيخ الإسلام المحدث الحافظ under the hadith in Sahih Bukhari about نعمة البدعة هذه, he says البدعة أصلها ما أحدث على غير مثال سابق. Bid'ah in language is something that has no precedent. وتطلق في الشرع في مقابل السنة فتكون مذمومة, and it is used in Sharia against Sunnah, and it is مذمومة, it is disliked. Bid'ah disliked. والتحقيق أنها إن كانت مما يندرج تحت المستحسن في الشرع فهي حسنة. But the tahqiq, the proof is this, that if it comes under the Sharia, under the asl of the deen, then this is mustahsana, it is good. And if it does not come, i.e. goes khilaf al-Quran, khilaf al-Sunnah, then it is mazmuma. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in Fath al-Bari explains under ni'mat al-bid'ah to hadihi, the definition of bid'ah.
Saying that the first one who established the celebration of the Prophet, that this was the king of Erbil, it's not true. Abu Shama the Shafi'i, he said, he took a model for him in doing this, and that is Umar bin Muhammad al-Mulla, and that is in al-Ba'ith ala inkar al-bid'ah wal-hawadith, and he is a Sufi man. This king is taking him as an example, so he's not the first one who started it. the Fatimiyin are the one who started it, as we find in the book Al-Khutat al-Maqriziyya, page 432, and Subh al-A'sha for Al-Qalqashqandi, in the 3rd volume, page 493, and Abu Hafs al-Fakhani, many scholars, they said that it renders to al-Fatimiyin. So that's not an issue anyway. Anyway, he said, Ibn Hajar, Ibn al-Fakhani, he said, I don't know where are the bases of this mawlid which they have brought. And he's a great scholar. He had been praised by many scholars. He said, I don't know where did it come from. It is a bid'ah that have been established by those battalun, false people. So this is, and he said, this, what will be my answer if Allah asks me at the day of judgment about it? This will be my answer. So let's stop now regarding this issue. I'll come back to my question. Bring for me the definition of the salaf. Salaf, you brought from Ibn Hajar. Ibn Hajar is not of the salaf. Bring me from as-salaf. From as-salaf. You said yesterday to me, give me a definition from as-salaf. Do you agree with your friend yesterday that we don't allow making adhan for Salatul Janazah and for Salatul Eid? Do you agree with him or you disagree with him? Write it down, please. And you write down my questions in case he did not answer my question. So he claimed that the Prophet ﷺ knew about something called Ihtifal Mawlid al-Nabawi. He did not bring any bit. Did he bring any source? Nothing. He said, yes, I claim that the Prophet knew it. What is the evidence? Mutashabihat also. What is this answer? Is this, no, I want you to listen to me when I speak. That's not fair. This is disrespect. Please. I don't want to, no, I'm with you. No, that's not, I'll repeat. Please repeat. Please, I want you to repeat. You're consulting him, but at the same time, I'm addressing to you your question. My question.
I'm writing down, inshallah, your points.
No, I put 2 questions and you were busy with them.
Because the answers, they're not happening. But I need to write down if you are right.
Okay. So the question is, should we start now? The question is, did the Prophet know about this? And he said, yes. Bring me your evidence. You did not give any evidence, nothing. Give me the definition when the bid'ah is allowed to be done and when the bid'ah is not allowed to be done. If you bring me Al-Izz bin Abd al-Salam, As-Suyuti, I'll bring you many quotations where Al-Izz bin Abd al-Salam criticized many kinds of bid'ah. As-Suyuti criticized many kinds of bid'ah. And now we criticize many kinds of bid'ah, especially the bid'ah of touching the grave of the Prophet. And he said, this is the habit of the Christians. And he quoted scholars saying this. And I believe that you believe it's allowed. And many scholars, among them Al-Tahtawi and many scholars, they said, this is the habit of the Jews and the Christians, and you allow it. And then now in his book Al-Majmu', he criticized it, and he said, this is bid'ah munkara.
1 minute.
Quoting scholars, Al-Fuqaha, Al-Khurasaniyun, Al-Mutabahirun. How much? 1 minute. 1 minute, alright. So, do you agree with your friend about yesterday that making adhan for janazah and Eid is not allowed? Why it is not allowed? You have to give me. If you don't give me the justification why this is allowed and why this, how can we justify this but we don't justify that? If you can't give it to me, then how can you prove your point? You cannot prove your point. I still have time. 10 seconds. I give him my 10 seconds to answer the question.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. From these 5 minutes, it becomes very clear that the brother did not speak about bid'ah at all. He spoke about Ilm al-Ghayb al-Nabawi, spoke about Mawlid al-Nabawi, spoke about Tabarruk. Nothing to do with the topic. And this is unfortunately from the people, when they are not able to stand on the Quran and Sunnah, they need to move around. And this is what the Buddha is doing. He's not sticking to the topic. He asked me a simple question about Salatul Janazah. If we understand what bid'ah means, we have no problem after this. Before I come to this, let me tell you about Suyuti. He actually criticizes all the historians that he's given. And the history that I gave, this has been mentioned by Ibn al-Jawzi fi Mi'at al-Zaman. It's been mentioned by Ibn Khalqan fi Tarjmat al-Hafiz, Ibn Khitab ibn Dihya. It's mentioned by Suyuti himself. It's mentioned by Ibn Kathir fi Bidayah al-Nihaya. Off the topic issue. His quotation on the history of Milad or Mawlid al-Nabawi is incorrect. I didn't give evidence to say Rasulullah knew Mawlid al-Nabawi. I said, yes. Inshallah. He asked for the Salaf. Imam Shafi'i, who does not know Imam Shafi'i? Imam Shafi'i is from the Salaf. I gave him 2 Sahih Sanads to prove this qawl of Shafi'i that bid'ah is of 2 types. The brother did not answer back, and he probably didn't understand that Shafi'i is Salaf. As for people like Al-Hafiz, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, the ulama of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah agree with him. As for what he said about Nawawi and all others criticizing bid'ah, we criticize them as well. We say all bid'ah munkara, we leave them alone. What is the principle? Inshallah, in the minutes I have, I'll mention them to you now. Imam Shafi'i said bid'ah is of 2 types, as I've quoted. Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar said, and ni'matul bid'ati hadhihi in Sahih al-Bukhari, Fath al-Shara, Sahih Bukhari, Fath al-Bari, he says bid'ah is of 2 types. Qadi Abu Bakr ibn Arabi in Aradat al-Ahwazi in the Shara Sahih Tirmidhi, under the hadith Iyyakum muhdathat al-umur, he says bid'ah is qismain, i.e. 2 types, good and bad. And Nawawi in Tahdhib al-Asma' wal-Lughat, quoted by many of the scholars, he says bid'ah in the Shara is something إحداث ما لم يكن في أحد رسول الله, something that was not there at the time of Rasulullah, وهي منقسمة إلى حسنة وقبيحة, and it is divided into good and bad. And Nawawi understood these hadiths like this. الشيخ المجمع على إمامته وجلالته وتمكنه من أنواع العلوم والمراتب أبو محمد عبد العزيز بن عبد السلام شيخ الإسلام, he says in القواعد bid'ah is of 5 types. Ibn al-Athir in النهاية في غريب الحديث, under the kalima of bid'ah, he says bid'ah is of 2 types. Al-Hafiz ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, and I've got a text now to show to the brother very clearly what he quoted or partially quoted. Jami' al-Ulum al-Hikam, under the hadith about bid'at, which I quoted first, with the sanad of the Shafi'i is given and the sanad is sahih, and Hamlat ibn Yahya is suduq, which he misquoted again. And he then explained what he means by bid'ah. He quoted him without actually understanding him. He says, وَأَمَّا الْبِدْعَةُ الْمَحْمُودَةُ فَمَا وَافَقَ السُّنَّةِ. As for bid'ah, which is good, it is that which goes in accordance with the sunnah. The exactly same thing we've been saying. This is Jami' al-Ulum al-Hikam, Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, who the brother tried to quote to prove against me, but unfortunately he's gone against himself. He partially quoted. يعني ما كان لها أصل من السنة ترجع إليه, i.e. that bid'ah which has an asl in the sunnah to go back to it. وإنما هي بدعة لغة. Now this is his part, and this is bid'ah linguistically, لا شرعا, not in shara, لموافقتها السنة, because this goes in accordance with the sunnah. If the brother is happy to keep Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, declare now, and I want him to answer. I've answered 6 points of his, other than the janazah which I'll answer. I want him to answer 1 point. If Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali has called this bid'ah lughawi, and by him bid'ah lughawi means something that is in accordance with the sunnah, I call bid'ah hasana bid'ah lughawi. All of our bid'ah hasana are bid'ah lughawi. We won't call them bid'ah sunnah or bid'ah, we just call them bid'ah lughawi, not bid'ah hasana. Bid'ah lughawi, the same way that Ibn Rajab meant it, we mean it. The same way, keep bid'ah hasana, call it bid'ah lughawi. Is the brother willing to accept this ta'rif and shara of Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, where he has stated that bid'ah hasana, bid'ah mahmuda is something that goes in accordance with the sunnah. We call it the linguistical bid'ah. We'll call him linguistical bid'ah as well. And bid'ah shari, according to Ibn Rajab, he calls anything that goes khilaf the sunnah. We call that bid'ah as well, and we call it bid'ah munkara. The imams of this ummah, the Buddha spoke about unity. I quoted you 7 of the major ulama, who have said bid'ah is of types. Bid'ah is of types. From the Salaf al-Salih, al-Shafi'i, with 2 sahih sanads. I would like the Buddha to comment on these sanads.
10 seconds.
And not just comment on Sunnah, comment on the people and give the hukam of these people. The one who believes bid'ah of two types, I would like the hukam from your tongue, please, in the time that you have.
I don't have time to make more search about what you mentioned, so this should be delayed. It should be delayed, and I'll give you my judgment about the two narrations. I have basically mentioned to you Abdullah Muhammad al-Atashi, Hamad ibn Yahya, okay, and Muhammad ibn Musa al-Fadl, if I remember, 3. And I ask you to give me the narration from, when you mention something, give me the chain perfectly, okay? That's the first thing. You said that you answered the questions. I gave you what An-Nawawi said. It is bid'ah munkara to touch the grave. You say, I agree with the scholars about that. Did you agree? Did you tell me? Did you tell me if you agree with An-Nawawi? And Al-Ghazali, by the way, Al-Ghazali who criticized it, and he said, it is a habit of the Christians and the Jews. This brother allows you to do the habit of the Christians and the Jews. Is this allowed or not? Why don't you answer it? Give an answer to the people. Are you ashamed of your faith and religion? Tell me if it's allowed or not. Al-Ghazali said, it is a matter of a habit of Christians and the Jews. And now we said the same thing. And now we quoted Al-Shafi'i saying, when he was asked about making buildings on the graves, he said, I saw the scholars destroying them, and the leaders destroying them, and I did not see any scholar criticizing this. This is An-Nawawi saying this is bid'ah. Do you agree with An-Nawawi or do you disagree with An-Nawawi? This is a very important thing. If you want me to mention, what did you say I did not answer? Are you talking about the definition of bid'ah? I can give it to you now. Is that what you're answering? You're asking. If you're asking about that, okay, I'll mention it to you. It is طريقة في الدين مخترعة يتقرب بها إلى الله. When you seek to get closer to Allah by something that the Prophet did not seek to get closer, this is not a linguistic bid'ah. This is not a linguistic bid'ah. Because the linguistic bid'ah you're talking about is something that the Prophet did not do while he was able to do what he did not do. Ibn Faris, he said, ابتداء الشيء وصنعه لا على مثال سابق. In Lisan al-Arab he said, البدعة الحدث. Then he said afterwards, وما ابتدع من الدين بعد الإكمال. What had been innovated in religion after the religion had been completed. This is what Ibn Manzur in Lisan al-Arab mentioned. So, please, I want you to give me an answer for this. You said that Ibn Hajar, he said, what did he say Ibn Hajar? I'll read you what Ibn Hajar said. He said, البدعة في عرف الشرع مذمومة. In a matter of religion, bid'ah is, what do you call this, مذموم? Dislike. بخلاف اللغة. He's arguing about the linguistic kind of innovations. Linguistically, we're talking about things that you seek to get closer to it. That has something to do with religion. Don't you seek to get closer to Allah by celebrating the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ? Do you love the Prophet more than the companions who didn't do it? Why didn't they do it? I wonder. They are the best people to worship Allah, the best people to understand the Sunnah. They did not do it. If you are quoting نعمة البدعة هذه, but Umar did not celebrate the birthday, did not say نعمة البدعة هذه, why do you do something that Umar did not do? Do you love the Prophet more than them? That is a very important thing. Ibn Hajar, so he said, فإن كل شيء أحدث على غير مثال يسمى بدعة سواء كان محمودا أو مذموما وأن المعنى الشرعي مختص يختص بما هو مذموم فقط. And from the beginning we said yesterday, the Prophet said كل بدعة ضلالة. And the whole debate is about, do we agree with the Prophet in what he said or not? What the brother is trying to defend is to come with him eventually and to say, yes, we should not say that. We should say the bid'ah is divided into two categories. So eventually you say the Prophet was not right. Why the Prophet has to say something? Why the Prophet has to say something and you're saying something against? You're correcting what the Prophet ﷺ said. The Prophet said, كُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. You're making a correction and saying, no, not every bid'ah is dalala. bid'ah are divided into good and bad bid'ah. 5 seconds. I give it to him to answer the question about An-Nawawi. Does he agree with him in the matter of touching the grave? He said this is bid'ah. Do you say yes or no?
Okay, the Buddha gave me 5 seconds to answer Nawawi's claim. I'm sure everyone agrees in 5 seconds I can't do that. Unfortunately, the Buddha made so many blunders, so many, in these last 5 minutes, I don't know where to start. He quoted Nawawi, I'll quote to you Nawawi. He said, Kullu bid'atin dalala. The hadith that he's speaking about in Sahih Muslim, about every bid'ah being dalala. What does he say? He said, هذا عام مخصوص. This is a general specific. والمراد غالب البدع قال أهل اللغة هي كل شيء عمل على غير مثال ثابت قال العلماء البدع 5 أقسام البدع 5 أقسام البدع 5 أقسام البدع 5 أقسام. It's not 5 times. How many times do you have to read Nawawi to you? When Nawawi says something is bid'ah, we believe it is bid'ah. Bid'ah dalala. When he says something is good, accept him. When Ibn Hajar says this is bid'ah, we accept it is bid'ah. Because he means by it, ما خالف الكتاب والسنة والأثر والإجماع. The Buddha is not understanding Quran and Sunnah. He's quoting Rasulullah sallallahu بغير مصداق. There is no mistake in his kalam. He doesn't know where to quote hadith and what to mean by it. كل بدعة ضلالة. No, he says عام مخصوص, and he refers to those bid'at that go against the Quran and Sunnah. Fathul Bari says Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Al-Hafiz, Shaykh al-Islam. These are not normal people, my brothers. These are the greatest ulama of this ummah. He says it refers to those bid'at that go against the Quran and the Sunnah. As for the Buddha quoting about touching of the graves, I'll answer them, no problem. Speaking about more than Nabawi, I'll answer it, no problem. We'll set dates on each topic. But if I start answering these claims, which he's made from here and there, we won't get to the topic. I asked the Buddha a few questions. Salaf al-Salih, al-Shafi'i, 2 Sahih Sanads. Everybody here has witnessed. The Buddha has not given me a reply to the understanding of Imam al-Shafi'i, as-Salaf al-Salih, pertains to bid'ah to me. I gave him 7 of the great ulama that he accepts every one of them. There's not one that he doesn't accept. I shouldn't point out, sorry. There's not one that the Buddha does not accept, but he has not replied back with what they understood. And I'd like to give me a hukum on the person that says bid'ah is of types. And what do you believe about these people? Ibn Hajar, An-Nawawi. I believe, he asked me a question about An-Nawawi, we call it bid'ah. Yes, I call it bid'ah. Ibn Hajar calls it bid'ah. Yes, I call it bid'ah. But do you and I believe when Nawawi says bid'ah is of types, do you accept? When Ibn Hajar says Nawawi is of bid'ah is of types, do you accept? And we'll come to the hadith as well, inshallah, in detail. Right now, unfortunately, he's been throwing very hands at me, and I have to answer all of these fallacies. But inshallah, now we'll come to my own subject, showing the newly invented things in the time of the Sahaba, which I present to the brother, that did the Sahaba perform these actions, and if yes, did Rasulullah leave them out, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then making such claims that you don't know hadith of Rasulullah, and you may think Rasulullah is wrong. This does not befit a Muslim to make statements about another Muslim, that you are saying Rasulullah is wrong. If you don't understand the Quran and Sunnah, admit it. Pick up your hand. Say, okay, we are maybe wrong. The haqq may be on your side. Accept. As for touching the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, we know in Muslim of Imam Ahmad with a Sahih chain, where he's seen where Abu Ayyub al-Ansari was seen kissing the grave. I don't want to reply to this. I don't want to reply. I don't want the Buddha to waste 5 minutes on this. I do not want to reply. This is just to say that there is hadith. Don't go. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal allowed building, allowed touching pulpit, which is quoted by WAHABI in Siyar Alam al-Nubala. I don't want him to reply to this, just to show that we have it. The Buddha mentioned minarets. Who built minarets? Can I ask the Buddha, just tell me which person built the minarets? This is what I'd like to ask him. Just a question. Which person? And if he quotes the person, was he saduq? Was he trustworthy? Someone who committed something new? Building a masjid, a bid'ah. This is a bid'ah. The minaret did not exist in the time of the Messenger ﷺ. It did not even exist in the time of the four khulafa. It came later. The Buddha, I'd like him to tell me who made them. And isn't this a bid'ah in the deen? That now you are calling the muazzin to go to the top of the mitzvah of the pulpit to call out for adhan so the people can come near, something that Rasulullah ﷺ was fully capable of doing and did not do. The Buddha yesterday gave me a ta'rif of bid'ah. I searched and I searched and I searched, I couldn't find it. I could not find it, even amongst our books. He said, bid'ah is something that Rasulullah ﷺ was capable of doing and did not do. Wallahi al-azim, it's probably my weakness. I could not find it. Even a Shatibi in al-i'tisam, his bid'ah is what he's just given now. The ta'rif that he's just given now is what Shatibi said. So yesterday, the brother quoted a ta'rif of bid'ah from his pocket. And he had nobody, no one from the Salaf, no one from the Khalaf, to back his point. Isn't this ikhtira in the deen? Isn't this bid'ah in the deen? This is the greatest bid'ah. And the Shafi'i says, the one who speaks about Quran and Sunnah without knowledge of it, he is a mubtadi'. It is, what more haram do you need than to speak about the Quran and Sunnah without knowledge? And face a ta'if of bid'ah, so much of the ikhtilaf amongst the ulama, amongst the ummah, on this topic of bid'ah. If the principle is understood, what is bid'ah? What is the definition of bid'ah? There will be no problems. As a Mawlid al-Nabawi.
Okay, before the Shaykh says, you said we're not going to interrupt. You said it. And I made the rule in the start. When Shaykh comes in here, if that happens, I'm going to grab the Shaykh and I walk out. This brother has studied 4 times now. Shaykh is not a 6-year-old baby. That's not right. That's rude. That's rude. No. Only you two talk. You tell him to be quiet. Then you be quiet. That person does not go. It's not a baby.
Okay, can I speak? Hold on. Shaykh, لو سمحت, أنا أقول لك كلمة Shaykh. You think something wrong, didn't you? You think something wrong happening? He spoke. The Buddha think something wrong happening there.
No.
Wait, let me finish. I'm not saying you're wrong. You think something? I'm not saying you're wrong.
My condition in this time.
I am not saying you're wrong. I am not saying you're wrong.
I'll tell you something.
No, we speak about it. If you explain and then come to the topic. Explain first.
Yeah, I want to explain his point, I mean.
Yeah.
The brother is the coordinator with you, isn't he? So he made some agreements with you.
Yes, I did.
So he's concerned with the matter.
Of course.
Yes. Now I kept my mouth shut. I didn't like it. It's not respectful. So if you want to stop me, stop, please. Stop. Not shh.
He didn't.
And it's okay.
You didn't feel that
There's one speaker, brother. There's one speaker that told you to keep calm.
No, my brother, please don't raise your voice. It's going to get it. He's an respected person for them. I'm sure your brother wouldn't like it if they raise their voices upon me. So let's not raise more voices. The brother is correct. I said this, is not wrong. If you see something wrong, you should speak up. The brother made a mistake by speaking up whilst I was speaking. His manner of saying it may have been disliked by you. But he stopped something that was wrong. Because the fool that was made was nobody else to speak. You done the same thing.
There's a way to do it.
Hold on, brother. Okay, ways will be discussed.
You make your point, let him explain.
Ways will be discussed. I'm not saying you're wrong in what you've done. But in the same way you try to make the haq speak, the brother did the exact same thing. He found that the Buddha was wrong in what he was doing, so he spoke up. So 2 wrongs don't make right. Inshallah, if you can go back to the 5 minutes and answer the questions I've given.
Right, so just before we continue, do you not want to pray for Isha?
I think we should pray later, if you're okay with that.
We'll bring here. As for me, I'm Musafir. I'm Musafir. But as for you, if you want to pray, we can stop it. We don't know much time left anyway.
We can pray after Isha. We can pray after 9 o'clock, inshallah. We're looking at
I asked the brother, I appealed to the brother, that it would be better if you say, stop please. That's good enough. So, do we agree on that?
Yes.
Stop.
Just before we continue as well, I think we agreed that there would be 10 people in the room. Just counting now, it seems to me you've got like 13 or 14.
There were some of the brothers that actually studied in the
Let me speak.
I think they have more knowledge.
Just because the Buddha spoke in shouldn't do. Just because he spoke in English, spoke very nicely, he's not allowed to speak. That doesn't mean we should speak as well.
No, we're just trying to understand.
My brother, you shouldn't. I agree with you. I don't disagree with you. But before we came, just to prove the point, I said to Brother Arif, it'd be 5 on our side, 5 on your side. He agreed. He came upstairs. I said to him 5. He said, it's up to you. The Buddha, let me finish the meeting. Let me finish. There are Buddha's witness here. I said to him a few times, my brother, can you listen to me now? When he came back, he found about 30 brothers. He said, this is wrong. Meaning he didn't mean this. I said, fine, how much do you want? He said, 10. I said, fine. I got 25 almost to move from here. Now 10, 11, 12. If that's a problem, I can ask 2 brothers to move. Yesterday, we had 7 and I think there were 13 with you. I don't have a problem with it. If you want 10, I can ask 2 brothers to leave, or 3 brothers to leave.
There's 8 to leave. There's 4 standing on the door.
Okay,
There's 4 standing on the door.
Okay, the brothers in the door closed. Can you stay outside the room?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Should we not
12,
count them?
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 19 brothers in here.
Okay, 4 outside, yeah?
No, I think you need to take into consideration the students are studying.
Okay, hold on. The brothers are back, please. Father, can you leave? Can you leave with us? Rabbi, can you leave? Can you brothers leave with us? Say, then y'all leave with us quickly. We don't need to waste time on this. There's no problem. Do you count him as well, this young lad? Do you count him as well?
He was including
I'm asking, do you count him?
Yes.
We do. Are we just at 10 or we got less than 10? Do we have less than 10 now? Can you all leave with us, please? Can you all leave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's a cameraman.
Fine, you know, we're fine. Let's continue.
I mean, even the brothers did not make any point, but I don't want you to shout in a way that you'll be using them as, we know these things.
Sorry?
We know the way of shouting and causing people to shout Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allah Akbar.
Let keep, I know, akhi, I know, but
We'll be
keep things normal, because you're shouting too much as well. I mean, if our discussion is educational, is, what do you call it, scientific,
Education.
why do you have to, I don't know what to say for that.
I won't shout. I do raise my voice. I agree.
You're shouting too much.
I do raise my voice. And there's a reason why I raise my voice, to make sure that the brothers clearly understand what I'm saying, and he helps me speak slower.
They don't
Now,
understand
inshallah,
unless you shout.
I will speak calmly. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he used to perform a khutbah, he used to raise his voice. I'm raising my voice. Now, in a khutbah doesn't mean you cannot raise voice outside the khutbah.
How many was talking to people?
I
Nicely,
will-
smoothly or not?
Very nice, of course. And I'd like to speak with the rest of you. Can you please start your 5 minutes? And I'll stay calm, inshallah, as you wish.
Yeah, as you see, brothers, within his 5 minutes, shouting, yelling, he did not give clear answer about does he agree with the An-Nawawi in criticizing this as a munkara bid'ah munkara. Did you agree with him or not? I wanted you to give me a clear answer, and I gave you 5 seconds. He said, you said 5 seconds are not enough for me. Why didn't you give me a clear answer? Yes? Do you agree with the Nawawi? You forced me to agree with the Nawawi, but it seems you don't agree with the Nawawi yourself. Why is it like that? So now he's saying this is bid'ah munkara. And this is bid'ah that has something to do with religion. And you accept this as a part of your religion, as a part of your faith. And he said it's a habit of the Christians and the Jews. Why did you give me an answer to? As to what you mentioned about the matter of the memory, Abu Dawood and al-Bayhaqi narrated that by Abdur ibn Zubayr, Imra min Bani Najjar, she said, my house used to be the longest house around the masjid, and Bilal used to be climbing it, going over it, and making adhan. Abu Dawood, he made tarjama for that, the title, Al-Adhan Fawqa al-Manara. So who established the Manara first? Talking about the understanding of scholars. And Al-Bayhaqi as well, he mentioned Al-Adhan fil Manara. So who started it then? I'll leave it to you. So Al-Adhan al-Manara has nothing to do with the matter of innovation. Why? It would be what is innovation in our perspective is to add something in the adhan, such as Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah, hayya ala khair al-amal, something like this, or saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad at the end of the adhan, loudly. That is the case. Al-Hawd ibn Hajar, he said the one who innovates an innovation, he may take it as a slight innovation at the beginning because of its slightness and lightness. It is light innovation. And he doesn't realize how corrupted it will be and how bad corrupting consequence it will cause. This is Ibn Hajar in Fath al-Bari. What you're quoting to me are scholars who came recently. What will be remaining between me and you, in which you're always emphasizing, are those two narrations correct or not? Now you're going to repeat the same thing, saying, see the brother, despite everything, he did not give an answer to this, and I said to you, this should be postponed until I make a double checking for it. You should not be saying no, and you keep repeating the same matter. No, because I came suddenly for the matter of debate, while I didn't have any intention to this. Okay, so I don't have books with me, I have nothing with me, so you have preference over me, you have the books. So you should not be saying, he did not give an answer, he should be giving an answer now. This matter requires checking the books, getting back to the library, reading the books, anyway. So it would be, we should be in our debate, way of debating, we should be tolerant, not intolerant. Okay. You say that the scholars divided the bid'ah. Is that what you said? Okay. Let's see now, those who divided it.
1 minute left.
Okay. 1 minute left. Okay. Al-Aziz bin Abdul Salam, he said it's not allowed to read on the dead person. This is bid'ah. But while An-Nawawi say it's okay. And An-Nawawi, we mentioned the matter of Salatul Raghaib. An-Nawawi disagree with it. Al-Ghazali agrees with it. So those who divide the bid'ah into 5 categories, now they don't know how to define it. Some bid'ahs they allow, some and they disagree with one another. If scholars were not able to define it, how can you let people on the street to define when the good bid'ah will be accepted and when will not be accepted? Give me a definition. Did you give me an answer to this? You did not give me an answer. I started with it. Did he give an answer to this? You did not give an answer to that. Why? And you say that I don't answer questions? I'll give you the rest of my time to tell me if you agree with An-Nawawi in this allowing
There's
this.
no time. We have no time. Okay. Alhamdulillah, calmly, things have become clear like daylight. The brother said he hasn't got any books. It's quite clear. Yesterday I had nothing. Everyone was witness to this. The brother said he didn't know the topic. I said, Wallahi, in the masjid, I did not look at a book or open a book before I came. If you can accept his word, because I've said yesterday, quoting, recorded, that he did tell the Shaykh. He might not have understood. I trust the Shaykh's word, or the brother's word I should say, that he did not know the topic. I also said I do not touch a book. Today I came of coming Sihah Sitta. If he wants a Sihah Sitta, Bukhari, Muslim, take it. Muslim Ahmad, Sihah Sitta, I've got Fath al-Bari, 1 volume of it, Jam al-Muhikam, I've got Nihaya, I've got Suyuti's work, I've got Shafi'i Muslim. You're more than welcome to take any book. If the brother also says that he's not ready to understand and discuss, especially Shafi'i's qawl, which he yesterday criticized from his internet and said it is weak and it is weak and it is weak, and today he gave me again 3 people. First was Hamad ibn Yahya. Hamad ibn Yahya, he said yesterday is majhul. That was a lie against him. He was not majhul al-Saduq, he was Sahib al-Shafi'i. He mentioned Al-Atashi. I mentioned no son of Al-Atashi in there. He mentioned the narration of Bayhaqi with Abdullah. I did not mention no narration of Bayhaqi with Abdullah. Answer what I'm saying. Don't make up things yourself and answer them for yourself. Up till today, or up till now, the brother has given this example and that example. This is bid'ah munkara, this is not. I've already said it. As long as you define bid'ah dalalah is that which goes against the Quran and Sunnah. In my 5-minute khutbah, I gave my position, what a Shafi'i said. And that is the position of the Salaf. This is what I took. Anything that goes against the Kitab and Sunnah, that's bid'ah, dalalah, munkara. Anything that doesn't, it's not bid'ah, dalalah. Anything that is in muwafaq of the Quran and Sunnah, and this is good. Now the Buddha gave an example, Shafi, no, he said this, it's irrelevant. I quoted to you Shah Sahih Muslim on the hadith of kullu bid'atin dalalah, how Imam al-Nawawi understood this hadith, the hadith that this Buddha quoted so many times. Clearly saying that there are 5 types of bid'ah, the same definition that I gave. The Buddha has not responded. At least say about Imam al-Shafi that if this sanad is sahih, then we should at least accept that the Salaf had this position, especially Shafi saying that there is no khilaf of the scholars on this. At least say this much, and you can go and check it later. Better other would be to say, for the Buddha to say that I'm not ready to debate, I'll come back and debate. The Buddha also said, unfortunately, the scholars couldn't define it. I gave you 8 of them, and 1 from the Salaf. Scholars couldn't define it, your scholars probably couldn't define it. Our scholars defined it very well. And even a unity among Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, when he said that the ulama did not understand, there are limits to things. There are limits. If you come to discuss about bid'ah, please define bid'ah, give me a definition. Yesterday the Buddha gave a definition of bid'ah. He gave a definition of bid'ah which was made from his pocket. This is my words. There was nobody he was able to give yesterday or today to prove this definition. How can you make definitions of bid'ah yourself? For the 5 minutes I've had, alhamdulillah ta'ala, I've spoken about bid'ah. The Buddha spoke about ilm al-ghayb, about barakah, about Mawlid al-Nabawi, about nothing do I hear from his tongue about bid'ah. Let me come now from yesterday when he said that anything that Rasulullah did not do and he was capable of doing, this is bid'ah. I said to him yesterday in the hadith of Sahih Bukhari, when the Sahaba were becoming shaheed in jihad and they felt that the Quran had disappeared, and Rasulullah did not compile the Quran in the form of a book that we have today, the Mus'haf. And this is something which was capable, Rasulullah had his ability to do, but he did not do it. So Umar ibn Faruq, Amir al-Mu'mineen, went to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, who was the Khalifa at that time, and said to him, shall we not compile the Quran in fear that it may get lost? And what Abu Bakr Siddiq said, أَتَفْعَلُ شَيْئًا مَا لَمْ يَفْعَلْهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم. Will he do something which Rasulullah did not do? The same thing that is what he's saying. I feel for him. What did Umar say? هُوَ وَاللَّهِ خَيْرٌ. By Allah it is good. By Allah, to do such a thing is good. Something that Rasulullah left out, but the asal was in the sunnah. What is the asal? إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. Clear asal, which Abu Bakr Siddiq understood, Umar understood. Then they called Zayd bin Thabit, and they said to him, we want you to compile the Quran. Do you know what he said back to them too? To Abu Bakr and Umar, he said, أَتَفْعَلَانِ شَيْئًا مَا لَمْ يَفْعَلُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. Will you do something which Rasulullah didn't do? They said back, وَاللَّهِ هُوَ خَيْرٌ. By Allah, this is a good thing. And then Abu Bakr said that I also had the same position until Allah opened my chest like he opened the chest of Umar. The Sahaba performed an action which Rasulullah ﷺ did not do in his lifetime. One example. How many seconds? 10 seconds? No stops.
Give them to me. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أتفعلان شيئا لم يفعله رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قالا ذلك والله خير. That's good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had expanded the chest of Abu Bakr to fulfill the promise of Allah who said, إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا جَمْعَهُ وَقُرْآنَهُ. The Prophet did not make jam'a for the Quran. Why? Because it used to be revealing on him until the last moment of his life. So how can this be compiled? And note, it's noteworthy as well that there used to be naskh. Verses are mansukh, other verses are nasikh. The third reason, the need of the Muslims to write, because the Quran used to be collected. Who told you the Quran was not collected? It used to be collected in the chest of the companions, and a lot of them, they died in the war in Al-Yamama. And Umar had the fear that the Quran would be in a problem, because most of the companions who memorized the Quran, they're dying. That's why he went. This is why he went to Abu Bakr, and he told him that we need to write it. And by the way, the Quran used to be collected as well at the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. Who told you that at the lifetime of the Prophet, the companions used not to be collecting by writing? They used to be collecting by writing. So, if the matter of celebrating the birthday of the Prophet, similar to the matter of collecting, why the companions didn't do something similar to writing the Quran? So this has something to do with the need, which was not needed at the lifetime of the Prophet. Our definition that I mentioned, and I mentioned it, you should be humbling yourself, saying, I did not find. If you didn't find, does it mean that there is nothing? You should be humbling yourself and say, I didn't find. But it's not a challenge. Ask me and I'll bring it to you. Okay? This is not, what I mentioned to you is not exactly the same thing that you have to be searching and finding. Give me time and I'll say to you, I'll give it. If I did not give it to you, then you should say, he promised and he did not give. This is how can we deal humbly with the matter. Anyway. He did not give an answer about what now he said. He said, this is bid'ah munkara. Did he give an answer to this? Until now there is no answer. Al-Shafi'i, when Al-Shafi'i said, every bid'ah is divided, this is not what the Prophet said. Al-Shafi'i said, if you see my words disagreeing with the words of the Prophet ﷺ, throw my words. He said, throw my words. I gave you the definition of the bid'ah, and you said, until now you say, you did not give. I gave it to you. Ibn Faris, Ibn Mandur, those are linguistic people. But yesterday when you said to me, give me the definition from the Salaf. Did you give me the definition from the Salaf? Except you mentioned about the Shafi'i, those two narrations. I'll check them out today, and we'll get back to them. You did not give an answer about what Al-Bayhaqi said and Abu Dawood said. Al-Adhanu fil Manara, which made it very clear that they understood that Manara was something to be talked about at the lifetime of the Prophet when Bilal took the highest place and he made Adhan. أَتَفْعَلَانِ شَيْئًا لَمْ يَفْعَلْهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. That is it. That is it. That's for us. It's not for you. Because if it's in the mind of Zayd ibn Thabit that you can innovate, why did he ask? Why did he do something the Prophet did not do? If it's in the mind of Abu Bakr, why Abu Bakr? If it's allowed, if it's an open, just like the way you open it, why he said, do you do something that the Prophet did not do? When they said, Wallahi innahu khayr, it is for the need. It is for the need of the Muslims. At the lifetime of the Prophet, that need was not available. But after the companions died, they need another kind of collecting. Because that kind of collecting is about to be vanishing because of the death of the companions. Do I have time? 40 seconds. Half a minute. Okay. You said Al-Qadi ibn Arabi. Al-Qadi ibn Arabi is Ash'ari. An-Nawawi is Ash'ari. Okay? Sometimes they make it right, sometimes they make it wrong. But you say that Ash'ari is, An-Nawawi is your scholar, and you are Ash'ari, as you said to me yesterday. So you have to, didn't you say that I'm Ash'ari? I follow. Oh, you're the one who said it? So you're not Ash'ari?
Okay, alhamdulillah.
No, I want to know how,
I'm Maturidi.
Are you Ash'ari?
I'm Maturidi. Salafi Maturidi. Salafi, I'm Salafi first. Salafi.
You usually say it's the
and
same.
Maturidi. Salafi Maturidi. I follow, you asking me, I follow the fiqh of Abu Hanifa, who's from the Salaf, so I'm Salafi. I follow the Aqidah of Imam al-Maturidi, who's from the Salaf, so I'm Maturidi. We'll discuss this some other time, inshallah, another topic.
No, I need to know the source. I need to know the source. Okay, your doctrine is different than his doctrine.
You're talking with me.
Because he said, I move in inshallah according to Ash'ari. So he should be careful to you.
You're talking to me, not to him. You're talking to me, my brother.
He said, yeah.
No,
He said, I'm Ash'ari.
Please don't point that. You're talking to me.
He said, I'm Ash'ari. And the Ash'ari, according to the Matiri, is kafir.
We do not
because he said, I'm moving inshallah. And the one who said, I'm moving inshallah, he's doubting his faith. Anyway.
Okay, thank you. Shall I start my 5 minutes? Okay. Alhamdulillah ta'ala, the Buddha's come a bit closer to the heart. How he said about the Quran. I did not say it was not taken from the Prophet ﷺ in its complete form. I said it was not compiled in the form that we have today, Mus'haf, in one book. It was not there. As for Zayd saying to Abu Bakr and Umar, and as for Umar saying to Abu Bakr, why are you going to do something that Rasulullah did not do? This is what I'm trying to say. That they understood how dangerous bid'ah can be. They understood it. And that's why they have to make sure that are they doing a bid'ah? That when it was said, Wallahi huwa khayr, by Allah it is good, swearing by Allah that this is good, they understood that this is not bid'ah. This is not bid'ah. And the brother, alhamdulillah, if they're fearful of falling into bid'ah, they should be. But when it's been made clear that this is not bid'ah, they should accept. Like Abu Bakr accepted, like Zayd bin Thabit accepted. The Buddha said he gave definition of bid'ah, he gave linguistics. I gave ulama. The Buddha said, no, we can be right, can be wrong. It's good. Say clearly, either you believe is right, or you believe is wrong. And all the ulama that I've quoted, including the Shafi'i, yesterday which he said the sanad is weak, today he's saying, I will go and check it out. This is not fairness. They should accept it, that yesterday I was wrong, and today inshallah I'll go and check. I'll give you one example of the Sahaba performing an action which Rasulullah did not do. The second action, as I quoted yesterday, when in Sahih Bukhari, when Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, when he was Amir al-Mu'mineen, he came out and he found the Sahaba praying Taraweeh separately, some together, some separately. And he decided to join them behind one Imam, and he made Ubay ibn al-Ka'b radiallahu ta'ala and the Imam. And the next day when he came out and he seen them behind one Imam, he said, Ni'matil bid'atu hadhihi. This is a good innovation. And the Buddha was not able to answer yesterday as to regarding this word bid'ah which Umar used. If he used it in a linguistical manner, which Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali mentions, I'll mention to you what Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali mentions, that anything that goes against the Quran and Sunnah is bid'ah munkar mazmuma. If it doesn't go against the Quran and Sunnah, it is bid'ah mamduha. And anything that's bid'ah mamduha, we don't call it bid'ah, we call it bid'ah lughatan. I said to you, if you believe all the bid'ahs are lughatan, I accept them as all bid'ahs lughatan. So then things like Mawlid become bid'ahs lughatan, no problem. If you want to come to this conclusion that ni'matil bid'atu hadihi is bid'ah lughawi, which the brother does not have no proof from the word of Umar himself to say that what he meant by bid'ah was different to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as yesterday's discussion, which I don't want to go over again because the answer I didn't receive from the brother. The definition he gave of bid'ah yesterday was different. The definition he gave today was different. Yesterday he was not able to give me any people. I did ask him. I asked him, and according to that brother there, 20 times. He said to me, you've asked him 20 times. I asked him 20 times, according to that brother, that please provide me people. He was not able to provide me people. Today he brought a new definition. He brought a new definition. Definitions don't change overnight. If your mutala'ah increases daily, then you shouldn't be discussing a topic which is so settled. Then the Buddha said the ulama were not able to define it, which I've shown that the ulama were able to define it. Let's go now to the third example of Sayyidina, for example, when the Prophet ﷺ in Bukhari and Muslim and in others, in Kitab al-Salah, when the Sahabi Rafa' ibn Rafi', he used to pray behind the Prophet ﷺ. فَلَمَّا رَفَعَ رَأْسَهُ قَالَ, when Rasulullah raised his head, he said, سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَهُ فَقَالَ رَجُلٌ رَوَاهُ رَبَّنَا وَلَكَ الْحَمْدُ حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه فلما انصرف قال من المتكلم قال انا قال رأيت 39 ملكا يبتدرون ايهم يكتبها. The Prophet said سمع الله من حمده, and the person behind said ربنا لك الحمد, as I mentioned, something extra. The Prophet after finishing said, who is the one who said this? And the person said, it was me. And the Prophet said, I've seen angels, over 30 angels, running to write it down, the ajr for what you've said. Something Rasulullah did not teach to them explicitly, but what they understood. We have many examples in the time of the Sahaba performing things and coming to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like Abu Hurairah, for example, he used to make 12,000 istighfar daily, and he said it was because of my sins. And we have Imam Ahmad quoting these with a Sahih chain. We have many things like this from the Sahaba performing particular actions, and Sahaba performing actions after the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said Azan of Jum'ah. Everybody knows it, we all do it. We can't now say there's a need. Or we look at Abdullah, Sayyidina Umar bin Abdul Aziz, the one who actually made the minarets of the Masjid al-Nabawi Sharif. He's Khalifa Rashid, according to Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And the amount of things that he done, which were new, like building madaris, and even these books, Bukhari and Muslim, which people quote, these were not there at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. The tadween of these books of jarh and ta'deel, to say something is saduq, to say hadith, da'if, sahih. These are all terminologies made by ulama later, by the Salaf and after the Salaf, expounded on the people like Ibn Salah and Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani.
About 2 sessions each, 20 minutes left of 9 o'clock, so there's 2 sessions each.
Can we wait until they stop this, because we want the recording to be... It's no problem.
It's clear enough.
No, this noise.
Just to let you know, this is Shaykh Amjid. He studied in Dimashqiah for over 8 years. He's one of the top ulama we have in the UK.
Shaykh Amjad?
درس عند الشيخ نور العيسى حافظ نور
معروف شيخ نور نسمع به.
وأيضا هذا الأخ
أنا تلميذ الشيخ نور.
حياكم الله. حياكم الله. Shall we start?
Can I ask a question, Shaykh? Do you have books on your laptop that you're looking at? Do you have books on your laptop?
Yes, I do.
So the same as me?
No. Sometimes they make, I have an old one that contains many mistakes, so I can't find.
You have some books, but not
Yes, yes. And I would ask the brother not to say don't use the laptop, because it's just like I'm using a paper.
That's why books and laptops are the same.
It's an electronic paper.
Should we start 5 minutes, please? 5 minutes?
Okay. Let's come to the last point he mentioned, that one of the companions, he said, رَبَّنَا لَكَ الْحَمْدُ حَمْدًا كَثِيرًا طَيِّبًا مُبَارَكًا فِيهِ. And the Prophet ﷺ said, who said these words? He said, me. Now who told you that this companion did not take it from the Prophet? Who told you? Right, brother?
Yasin.
Yasin. Who told you that this companion did not take it from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
You want to answer this?
No. Answer that your time. Okay, that's the first question. The second question is, if the Prophet approved him, let's say the Prophet approved him, right? Okay, but the Prophet did not approve many companions on things that they did. So regarding the things that we see today, how do we know? How do you know when you make a bid'ah, when you innovate something? How do you know that the Prophet approve you or disapprove you? For example, hadith of al-Bara, he said, I started to say, آمنت بكتابك الذي أنزلت وبرسولك الذي أرسلت. So the Prophet ﷺ corrected him and he said, say, وبنبيك الذي أرسلت. Rahman bin Mad'un, he wanted to cut his students and to dedicate his whole life in worshipping Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ did not approve him. Those three persons who came and asked about the worship of the Prophet, did the Prophet approve what they said? No, he did not approve. So, there are people whom the Prophet may approve. This is if we say to you that he did it by himself without taking it from the Prophet. You have no proof to say to me he did not take it from the Prophet. The Prophet only said, who said that word? Then the Prophet, he said, I saw 30 angels racing who will write the reward of that first. Yes. But you can't prove to me that he did not take it from the Prophet. In case he did not take it from the Prophet approved people and did not approve others. Can you guarantee to me that your bid'ah that you're bringing is approved by the Prophet or not approved? How do you bring it? How do you prove it? That's one point. The other point is, if you want me to go to you something that had been said about the matter of bid'ah, I can bring you. Abu Mas'ud said, اتبعوا ولا تبتدعوا فقد كفيتم. Follow and don't innovate because you have been sufficed. That means by the perfect religion. The perfect worship, and I mentioned to you, the best person ever worshipped Allah is the Prophet ﷺ. And he did not answer this. You did not answer yet until now. Do you agree with the Nawawi? How many times we repeated it? And my time is being spoiled on the appealing to you. Please give an answer to this. Do you agree with the Nawawi when he said this is bid'ah munkara? He said this is bid'ah munkara. Why don't you answer it? You're wasting my time. So he said, اتبعوا ولا تبتدعوا فقد كفيتم. Abdullah ibn Umar said, كل بدعة ضلالة وإن رآها الناس حسنا. Sa'id ibn Musayyib, he saw a man performing a prayer after Fajr. And he criticized him for what he said, for what he's doing. So the man said to him, would Allah be punishing me for praying? Punishing me for praying? He said, no, but He is punishing you for opposing the Sunnah, for what is opposite of the Sunnah. That's what said, and this is a beautiful word. That said, and by scanning and exploring the whole life of the Sahaba, Tabi'een, they were against bid'ah. They were not approving bid'ah. And it is also narrated authentically that a man with Ibn Umar, he started to make tathweeb. And I think you know, yeah. He was making tathweeb. Yeah, he was making tathweeb. And Ibn Umar said, let's get out of here. This is bid'ah. And that is authentic. So that shows the attitude of the companions, the attitude of the Salaf. They were not allowing bid'ah. You're quoting Ni'mat al-Bid'ah hadi. If I have no more time, I will dedicate my next time to speak fully with details about this hadith that he's always using. Half a minute. I wanted to give an answer to the matter of Uthman radiallahu anhu. I don't know if I have time for that. Half a minute? I'll give the answer to that. Please, with the 20 seconds I have, how can I ask can we have any director to direct, to manage the debate, to force him to give an answer to this? Please give an answer to that.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. MashaAllah, the brothers come more closer to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Much closer, alhamdulillah. The brother said, I made it clear from the beginning that we are against bid'ah. Made it very clear, bid'ah, dalala, munkara. As Rasulullah said, we are against bid'ah. We uphold the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah. He said, if you perform a new action, a bid'ah, how do you know if it's right or wrong? How do you know if it's approved or not? This is what we're saying. We don't do it ourselves, we ask the Imam, the ulama. The ulama tell us, the great muhaqqiqeen, after the research, if they agree or if they disagree, we look at what they say. It's not for us people to go and say, this is bid'ah, this is not. But the qawaid have been put down. The brother just mentioned now a hadith or an athar, I can't remember what he mentioned, about Sayyidina Umar, I think it was, or whichever Sahabi mentioned, about him saying, let's go out of here. He's opposing the sunnah, opposing the sunnah. This is what they're saying. Anything that opposes the sunnah, it is bid'ah. Anything according to the sunnah, it is good. We know in the hadith of Bukhari, for example, when Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala was seated in the masjid, certain Sahaba came in Bukhari, certain Sahaba came in, and they seen people praying duha prayer. And he asked them, they asked him, what are they doing? He said, bid'ah. They're doing bid'ah. But if brothers take it like this and misunderstand, because in Musannaf ibn Abi Shaybah, we have the full narration where they came in and said, ni'matil bid'ah. This is a good bid'ah. And Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani said, and I'll read it to you, he said, كما قال أبوه عمر في التراويح. He said, the son of Umar called duha prayer good bid'ah, like his father called tarawih good bid'ah. This is Umar. This is Abdullah ibn Umar, the best of the people, the Salaf al-Salih. If they are telling us that there is such a thing as good bid'ah, ما وافق الكتاب والسنة والإجماع والأثر, this is what we follow. We don't bring from ourselves, from our hawa. No, we follow the kitab and the sunnah. The examples here are so many. I asked the brother, for example, Tadween of the hadith. Isn't this a bid'ah? Tadween, the compilation of the hadith. The brother knows Arabic well. The Tadween of the hadith, the books of Jarh and Ta'deel. What he mentioned about Adhan fil Minara or Manara in his wording, Tarjumatul Bab. Is this hadith? Or is this a bid'ah? Tarjumatul Bab? Ask him. Or the way Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala in the time when a certain Sahabi came back and said that get hold of your ummah before they get destroyed like the Yahud and Nasara, because they are different of the qira'ah of the Quran. And Uthman then called for Sayyidina Hafsa to bring the nuskha that her father, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala had compiled, and then he made one manuscript with one qira'ah, spread it all over the Muslim world and made everyone else destroy all of the Quran. Isn't this bid'ah? We don't call it bid'ah. Why? Because Rasulullah said, عليكم بسنتي وبسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعدي. Follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the khulafa al-rashideen al-mahdiin after me. In Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, in I'lam al-Muwaqqi'een, he mentions, if anything is established from the two imams, the two khalifa al-Rashidain, Abu Bakr and Umar, then I will leave everything for what they say. When I asked these brothers that Umar said, Ni'mat al-Bidah to Hadihi, you know what he answered yesterday? And Uthaymeen answers in his book al-Bidah. He said, you bringing a word against Rasulullah? Throw it on the wall. You think Umar, Abu Bakr, it's in the translation of God al-Bidah there. Umar and Abu Bakr and Uthman and Ali don't understand the Quran and Sunnah. The Rasulullah is telling him when somebody came to him and said, what should we do after you? He said, Iqtadu bi Abu Bakr wa Umar. Follow Abu Bakr and Umar after me. And when he was asked about Umar, he said, Allah has made, إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَعَلَ الْحَقَّ عَلَى لِسَانِ وَعَلَى قَلْبَهِ وَقَلْبَهِ. Allah has made haqq upon the tongue and the heart of Umar. That Umar is saying, نِعْمَةِ الْبِدْعَةُ هَذِهِ. His son is saying, نِعْمَةِ الْبِدْعَةُ. Abu Bakr is doing something that Rasulullah did not do in the compilation of the Quran. Uthman is doing two things that I've quoted so far, other than many. The adhan and the qira'ah of the Quran and nuskha. How many more Sahaba do we need to give you to show that bid'ahs are munkara, we completely against them? But bid'ah hasana, which is ma wafaqa al-kitab wa sunnah, which you can call bid'ah lugatan, which you can call whatever you like, as long as it is not against the Quran and Sunnah, this is what we hold. And what the brother will quote from all the hadith about bid'ah dalala, all the aqwal, I back all of them. Because all of them talk about bid'ah dalala. من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد أو فهو مردود كل بدعة ضلالة. All of these hadith, all of the aqwals of ulama that follow Shafi, many others, where they say bid'ah is dalala and munkar and we against it, I follow all of them.
Fine. This will be the last 1 minute slot to take us to 9 o'clock.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Why don't you allow someone to make adhan for Salatul Janazah and Salatul Eid? No answer is given. And now I have to repeat it. My question was not answered. Many questions are not answered. Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. You're avoiding giving the answer of the question. Yes, something like, no, don't interrupt, please. Many times No answer. What should I say? You don't allow me to say Allahu Akbar? You don't answer questions. About the approval of the Prophet ﷺ or disapproval, I gave you the answer. You did not give any comment on that. You're finished in this. Where do you guarantee, how do you guarantee to me if the Prophet approved your kinds of bid'ah and he doesn't approve? No answer. You say, we ask the scholars if this is bid'ah or not. Scholars themselves who divided the bid'ah into many. Show you, it takes 10 to 20 times if you want, 20 minutes. Scholars disagreed with one another about many of the things you do and many people do. Now he said, it's not allowed to be done. Ibn Abdul Salam says, it's allowed to be done. I mentioned, for example, Salatul Raga'ib, raising the hands in Qunut, reciting the Quran, and giving the thawab, the reward of that to other people. Ibn Abdul Salam, he said it's not allowed, and it's bid'ah. They disagree with one another about that. You say we go to the scholars. Those who divided the bid'ah into 5 categories, they disagreed with many bid'ahs. And these are the bid'ahs that many people nowadays do, and among them you. For example, Al-Qarafi, he has a book who criticized dancing and jumping. And you've been doing it down. He has a book about it. And Al-Qarafi is one of the people who divided Al-Bid'ah into 5 categories. And now you disagree with Al-Qarafi. So you say, we ask scholars? Okay. Ibn Umar said, اخرج بنا فإن هذه بدعة. Bid'ah, that's what he said. I wonder what did you say about Ibn Umar, that he said the same thing? I didn't pay attention to it. Yeah, please give me the chain of narration if on your time. Tadween al-Hadith, you said that Tadween al-Hadith was not, the Hadith was not written? It used to be written at the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Huraira said, there is no one who used to be collecting the Hadith of the Prophet more than me, except, what is it with Ibn Umar? For he used to be writing, but I was not writing. And he has a Sahif al-Sadiqa. It's a big box. He used to be bringing some Hadith from the, that means he has books. Maybe you're asking if they have printing press like today. No, they don't have printing press like today. Tarjamatul Bab. That goes to the understanding of the scholars. You've been talking to me that the scholars understood the bid'ah in a different way than the way you understood it. Now they're saying narrates at the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ, and that's their understanding. اقتدوا بالذين من بعد بالذين من بعد أبو بكر وعمر. That does not disagree with the fact that Umar was making mistakes. And I quoted to you some mistakes. And yesterday you said, Allahu Akbar, Sahabi make mistakes. Then I brought to you that the Prophet himself, Al-Quran Al-Kareem, I'll repeat the verses, عَبَسَ وَتَوَلَّى أَنْ جَاءَهُ الْأَعْمَى وَتُخْفِي فِي نَفْسِكَ مَا اللَّهُ مُبْدِيهِ عَفَى اللَّهُ عَنْكَ لِمَا أَذِنْتَ لَهُمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ. All of those are mistakes, and you say, Allahu Akbar, you're afraid? What do you have except shouting Allahu Akbar? Give me something to disprove what I mentioned to you. I brought to you verses from the Quran. نِعْمَةِ الْبِدْعَةُ هَذِهِ نعمة البدعة هذه. Is this what? I have. نعمة البدعة هذه. Ibn Rajab said, وأما ما وقع في كلام السلف من استحسان بعض البدع فإنما ذلك في البدع اللغوية لا الشرعية. When the Prophet said every bid'ah is innovation, is rejected, is dalalah, he's talking about shar'iyya. So there is a difference between both. And some scholars talked about collecting the people on behind one imam, because he used to be in different congregations in the mosque. He's talking about the structure, the way, the formatting, the organizing of the people. It doesn't mean that he's talking about the prayer itself. You know that Taraweeh is Sunnah or not? All the Hanafi books, they use the hadith, وَسَنَنْتُ لَكُمْ قِيَامًا. Now this hadith has slightness of weakness, but although, despite this, many Hanafi scholars, many Hanafi books.
This is the last one. Alhamdulillah,
Change the tape.
made very clear.
Can I just change the tape?
This will be the last.
in our madhab, makruh, tahrimi and haram have the same hukm. So it doesn't make a difference. Let's continue. Now, anything else that he said. He mentioned about, nobody said munkar, bid'ah, and somebody else says it's not. I have in front of me Kitab al-Masahif. He says here, with a full sanad, of sahih sanad, that كانوا يكرهون or يكرهون تصغير المصحف. The ulama did not or disliked making the Quran small. We see today, many scholars allow it. Also, أنه كره أن تنقط المصاحف بالنحو. That they do not like even putting the dots on the Quran when you recite Quran. But scholars later agreed. We have, for example, Umar radiallahu ta'ala, initially he did not allow the writing of hadith, but later he did. This is not the problem for us. The problem is the definition. If the brother was able to establish a definition, which in the whole of yesterday and today he was not able to do, and now to provide people to establish his definition. Now, which I've done quite clearly. He mentioned about ni'mat al-bid'ah to hadhihi. If this was not a bid'ah, as Umar understood, he should have said, this is the sunnah. Was it so hard for Umar to say that this is the sunnah? When he made people make tarawih, and it was a sunnah, why was it so difficult for him to say this was a sunnah? Why didn't he say it? Because they understood. The salah is sunnah, the kayfiyya is not. This is what we say, the asal has to be there in the kitab or the sunnah or the athar or the ijma. The kayfiyya, howness, can then differ. As we know from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and how long do I have?
2 minutes.
I'll mention to you some hadith of the Prophet ﷺ which do takhsis of كل بدعة ضلالة. من سن في الإسلام سنة حسنة فله أجرها ومن عمل بها من غير أن ينقص من أجره شيء. As I mentioned yesterday, that the Prophet ﷺ said in Kitab al-Zakat of Sahih Muslim that whoever brings a new practice, a good practice into the religion, he shall have into fill, not lil, fill, not for, not that doesn't need, fill. Hadith is clear. Whoever brings a new action into the religion, he shall be rewarded for it, and anybody who acts upon it. Whoever brings a bad practice into the religion, he shall have the burden, and anybody who acts upon it. Uthaymeen says very clearly, I've got the English translation, unfortunately I don't have the Arabic. He said, do you know what the meaning is of Man Sunnah fil Islam Sunnah Hasana? Actually, I don't need to read it out, but he says basically, I'll show it. In any case, there is a reply that no one should have a problem with. That the meaning of whoever enacts a sunnah, or he brings a new sunnah, is whoever revives a sunnah that was present and then it was lost. If that's the meaning, then I ask Uthaymeen, and if the brother wants to answer for Uthaymeen, that when the Prophet ﷺ then further said, whoever brings a bad practice, was there a bad sunnah that was lost and brought back forward? وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Whose words show that the sunnah can be bad? Ours of theirs. It's theirs quite clearly. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, مَنْ عَمِلَ عَمِلًا لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ أَمْرُنَا فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. Or mardud in a different narration, whoever brings a practice upon which our practice is not there, it is mardud. Ibn Rajab and others have mentioned that the mantuq of this hadith is anything that goes against the book and the sunnah, it's rejected. And the mafhum of this hadith is anything that is brought, وَعَلَيْهِ أَمْرُنَا, and upon it is our matter, فَهُوَ غَيْرُ مَرْدُودٍ. It is not rejected. That hadith does takhsis of كُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. كُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ, as Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali mentioned, and I've quoted to you from the book itself. I've read it 3 times, from the book itself, where he said this is something that goes against the Quran and Sunnah. We call that bid'ah mazmuma. If it doesn't go against the Quran and Sunnah, it's bid'ah mamduha, and we call this bid'ah lughatan. I told you this quite clearly. If you want to call it bid'ah lughatan, bihamdillah ta'ala. If you want to call it bid'ah hasana, bihamdillah ta'ala. The asal is, if it goes against the Quran and Sunnah, we reject it. If it comes in accordance with the Quran and Sunnah, we accept it. And by ulama, I don't mean today's people. No, not like today's people. The ulama are people like Al-Suyuti, Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar, Al-Nawawi, Al-Asqalani, Ibn Al-Athir, Ibn Kathir, Hatta Ibn Taymiyyah, Hatta Ibn Qayyim. If there's something good from them, we take it. If there's ugliness from them, we reject it. Or Imam Al-Shafi'i, the great scholars of this ummah. This is who we follow. Okay, would you like now to exceed the time?
The Q&A.
Or the Q&A?
No. I want to. Why did I add it? Because I need to talk.
Well, the time is finished. Would you like to continue now?
I'll add 5 minutes.
So I have 5 minutes as well?
Yes.
Okay, inshallah.
Because did I start?
You started.
Was I?
You started.
Okay. So I'll take 5 more minutes.
That's the final 5 minutes.
This is mujmal. When Umar radiallahu anhu said, "Ni'mat al-bid'atu hadhihi," he's talking about what? about the prayer is sunnah. He's talking about what? And I made it clear, I said it's about the form, collecting people. Collecting people. Okay. Rami al-Jima, for example. I want to stone. I want to go and make umrah and stone the devil. Is it haram, bid'ah? I want to do it. Standing in Arafah, if I make umrah, why not? 2 rak'ah after sa'i. Why not? 2 rak'ah after sa'i, why not? The Prophet didn't say, if you do it, you are criticized. He didn't say that. So why don't we do it? No definition, as you see here where he will stop. If he said we get back to our scholar, who's going to be getting back to their scholars? Can you guarantee that? This is a problem. You're causing problems to the people. People don't find, in a matter of fact, they will be disagreeing. As I mentioned to you, those high scholars whom you are bringing, Al-Azm bin Abd al-Salam, As-Suyuti, An-Nawawi, they disagreed with one another. Salat al-Raghaib al-Ghazali said it's okay. Abu Talib al-Makki in his book Qut al-Qulub, he said it's okay. Al-Azm bin Abd al-Salam, he said it's not okay. As-Suyuti said it's not okay. An-Nawawi said it's not okay. If scholars disagreed about certain bid'ah, how much more about the layman people? You're opening the way of innovating to the layman people. If those scholars who divided the bid'ah into 5 categories, they did not know how to they failed in matters of these innovations. Some say this innovation is hasana, and some others may say, why don't we agree on following what the Prophet did? That will be saving us from falling in these matters of bid'ah. Do you agree with An-Nawawi in doing this or not? You say this is makruh. Makruh is muharram in Hanafi madhab as well. Makruh is used for muharram. What is muharram? An-Nawawi says, you're going to take your time. An-Nawawi said it's bid'atun munkara. And he quoted people saying this is the habit of the Jews and the Christians. You say it's makruh. A habit of the Jews and the Christians is makruh. Unless if it's haram. And he said this is bid'ah munkara. And he said in our madhab it's allowed. No. Many scholars in your madhab, my brother, Tahtawi and as well as Mullah Ali Qari and many other scholars, they said, no, this is disallowed. And this is the habit of the Jews and the Christians. كانوا يكرهون تصغير القرآن. This has nothing to do with our topic. It's about how to make the Quran big or small. Is this the thing we disagree about? You bring things where you find there's a need for that, just like the hadith of Rahman that he added. It says, بعد اتساع المدينة, there's a need. After the expansion of Medina, there are many people who don't read the Adhan anymore. So you see, this goes with my definition that he criticized yesterday. I said, the bid'ah, and this is what I understood from our scholars who mentioned this, that the bid'ah is something that had been done by people which had not been done by the Prophet while he was able to do it, but he did not do it. What's wrong with this definition? Even if it's in my pocket, from my pocket, it's from my scholars. Even if it's from my pocket, is it wrong to say that? Is it the wrong definition? And yesterday he said the sunnah is bid'ah. Man sanna sunnatan, and he said that means man bittada'a bid'atan. So when Allah said وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا, it means وَلَن تَجِدَ لِبِدْعَةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. You're saying the sunnah is bid'ah, and you're using man sanna sunnatan hasanatan to prove the matter of bid'ah, which meant, and yesterday I said to you, I'm sorry, I said the word, I didn't mean to criticize you or to put you down or to slander you. You are ajami. And the scholars, the linguistic scholars as well, and many scholars, they said, all the scholars, even Ibn Rajab, including Ibn Rajab, al-sunnatu hiya at-tariqatu was-sira, the way in general. And there are many definitions. The definition of Ahl al-Usul is different than the definition of Ahl al-Hadith regarding the word sunnah. But you say the sunnah means bid'ah, that means sunnat Allah allati qad khalat, that means bid'atullah. Who told you that the sunnah is bid'ah? You said it yesterday. You said كل بدعة ضلالة, it is عام ليس مخصوص. I disagree with the one who says مخصوص. What?
Okay, mashallah. Again, the Buddha's come close to Ahl Sunnah, but unfortunately still holding the back.
Please say that I became Matridi also. Don't forget.
No, don't accept it, not really yet. Not yet. We have to discuss as well as to see if your Aqidah is correct on that. Anyway, Ajami, Arabi doesn't make a difference, as the khutbah of the Prophet ﷺ on the Hajjat al-Wada, and the Buddha didn't mean to criticize the Prophet. Again, the Buddha made so many errors, unfortunately. I don't know which one to pick up on. And say, look, I gave a definition. I backed it with 7 ulama of the Khalaf and 1 of the Salaf, with 2 Sahih Isnads. The Buddha gave me a definition yesterday with no person, and gave me a definition today with linguistics. And the only person from the ulama I accept that he gave was Shafi'i. And he gave that yesterday. Today he accepted, so what if I bought it from a pocket? Keep your deen in the pocket. Keep it. This is bid'ah. This is bid'ah from Allah munkara. To take your deen from the pocket, we take the deen from the kitab, the sunnah, the ulama. This is where we take it from. And you say, who's going to accept it? The ulama? You think the own ulama. As for Nawawi differing with Ibn Hajar, they all agreed upon the usul, on the principle. The principle was bid'ah. What is it? They understood it. I've quoted all of them. Every one of them that I mentioned, I've given you. I said yesterday, alhamdulillah ta'ala, I shall bring you the proof. And with the books I've given you, everything that the brothers quoted, I haven't disagreed with. But he hasn't shown it to me. Neither have shown it to the camera. I've shown everything here. And inshallah the camera can look at all the ibarat. Check everything. From Ibn Rajab, from Nawawi, from Ibn Hajar. Which more people do we need to quote to prove our point? I'd like, inshallah, when we finish, that the brother can please tell me the hukum on the man who then says bid'ah is of types, and place these ahkam, he gives this hukum, and all of these ulama, from a Shafi'i, Ibn Hajar, to, is it wrong to say that bid'ah, is it wrong to hold on to kullu bid'ah and dalala? Let me tell you, I told you yesterday, that the Khawarij, and this is the sifah of the Khawarij, that they would take a verse, or take a hadith, and take it out of context. They say, in al-hukmu illa lillah. What did Ali say? Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala an, kalimat al-haq, yuradu biha al-batil. A true statement, but what they mean by it is wrong. If every such thing as bid'ah linguistically is wrong as well, badi' al-samawati wal-ard. This is a verse, badi'. This is on the scale of fa'il in the meaning of ism fa'il. I mubdi'. Are you not saying something about Allah as well? Lughatan. Just the word bid'ah, ba'da, doesn't make a person mubtadi'. They misunderstand this. Every hadith he quoted about bid'ah, not many actually, I accept them, because they all mean bid'ah, dalala, munkar. Every call of every imam that he mentioned that this is bid'ah, I accept it, because it's bid'ah, dalala, munkar. The usul has been set, the brother was not able to give a definition. If you can't give a definition, and you can't give the ulama the practice definition, and the brother admits at the end that his deen is from his pocket, then I believe that everyone should be concerned about listening to him and his scholars, because they're taking it from their pocket as well, if he's taking it from the pocket. There's no one to prove anything, then you should be very concerned about your deen, that who do you take it off? I mentioned Ibn Uyayna, where he said, Al-Hadith mudillah illa lil-fuqaha. Hadith is misguiding except for the fuqaha, those that know how to sift through it. We don't take anything from ourselves, we take it from the ulama, the great ulama, those that the ulama, the ummah has accepted. If all of these people I've mentioned have agreed, and in all these examples the Buddha is giving, if you understood the principle, there wouldn't be a problem with the answer. And this is what we find with these brothers, unfortunately, that when it comes down to the clear matters, they either have no answer, or they jump around. And you've seen in the time that the Buddha had, he spoke about ilm al-ghaib, he spoke about barakah, touching hands, did Nabi do this? I don't know how many topics the Buddha wrote, Tahawi, Hanafi fiqh, Makruh, Haram, if I could finish. I stuck on the topic of bid'ah. I've only spoken from the books which are accepted by Sunnah wal Jama'ah. May Allah give the Buddha tawfiq that he accepts this and comes to the path of Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Understand bid'ah. Even if the Ahlul Lughah, he would say the same thing. He says the same thing. I don't need to read it out. Lughatan he says badi' samawat wal ard. And in Shara he mentions what goes against the book and the Sunnah, bid'ah dalala, what is in accordance with the Quran and Sunnah, it is not bid'ah. If the Buddha would like to speak on any of the topics, we will speak about tawassul, if not today, some other time, inshallah we'll speak. But I could at least say this is the first brother from the, if I would call you, from the Salafi, or I don't want to call a name that you wouldn't like, who had good adab, mashallah. You should give credit where it's due. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
And I'll say the same thing about you. That,
Q&A.
yeah, but I would like to say the same thing about him. The brother was very polite.
Just one thing,
And,
sir.
yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for everything. May Allah reward you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our hearts to the truth that He knows subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you very much for everything. I'm not going to give any comment, lest it will be, it's sequent. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say thank you for everything. Regarding tawassul, if you give specific topic about tawassul, we can go now. If you want it to be
general,
specific.
we leave it general.
Huh?
We leave the topic of tawassul.
Just to mention, I'd like to mention, the adab of Abdur were very good. But I'm still upset at what he said about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam yesterday and today. I don't accept this to be good adab. This is su'ul adab. This is what I believe about that. So the aqidah that he holds,
So the Quran contains su'ul adab?
No.
كلمة الحق يراد بها الباطل. كلمة الحق يراد بها الباطل.
Is this a mistake?
كلمة الحق
Is this a mistake or
يراد
not?
بها الباطل.
عفى الله عن كلمة أذنت له. Is this a mistake or not?
The intention that is there, unfortunately, is something that is so for me.
Why is it Musa said, إن هذا من عمل هذا من عمل
Inshallah, we can leave it there, inshallah. 15 minutes of question answers.
We can have a debate on that if you want for the next debate on these.
No problem, no problem.
Q&As now.
I'm
Q&As,
taking
15 minutes. Q&A.
How do you do Q&A?
Okay, so people from our sorry, you're going to be asking questions and our people are going to be asking him questions. Is that what you...
As you wish, but I'd like Shaykh or Farah to answer. They're more learned than you both of them. So if whatever I've said, and if they can add for the Quran and Sunnah, for the debate or discussion finished, just question and answers. If you don't
I have
mind,
to give questions and answers, not comment by the Shaykh, despite my respect to him.
you would like him to answer.
To answer me?
No, if any of your brothers ask questions.
Yes, sure.
The Buddha would like to
We
answer.
start 15 minutes Q&A.
Oh, my son. How would you like to answer?
So they asked me, the brothers asked me questions.
Hold on, one last question here.
And then one of you asked...
We agree that the question and answer will be on the topic of bid'ah, nothing else. Otherwise, no problem.
If you want, no problem.
We agree that we're on bid'ah only and nothing
Yeah.
else. Let them ask
Okay, so 15 minutes, please.
one question from your side, one question from our
Start
side.
from yours here, inshallah.
Okay. I'll say something. I'll be going, I have to be in London 17th. So I'll try to make, I'll set my travel to pass by Birmingham here. So we'll let the matter of tawassul be next week, inshallah.
We can arrange that with Arif.
Okay, that's very good. So we agree, it's okay with you? 17th I'll be there.
We will discuss the topic of tawassul.
Okay.
The topic. So we begin with our questions. Firstly, I would like to ask you the hadith narrated by Imam al-Hakim in al-Mustadrak, twice in his Mustadrak, once in volume 2 and once in volume 4. And then in Majma' al-Zawaid, Ibn Hajar al-Haytami mentions the same hadith, and you will find this hadith in the Sunan of Imam Abu Dawud and al-Jami' of Imam al-Tirmidhi, that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مَا سَكَتُّ عَنْهُ فَهُوَ عَفْوٌ. Whatever I stayed silent regarding, meaning in halal and haram. If you look at the context of the full hadith, you will find that the hadith does refer to the halal and haram. I have the hadith here in the Majma' al-Zawaid, and if the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that what he stayed silent regarding is forgiven, and this is tashri' from Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if someone decides to do an action which is halal and has been made, instated by the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, why would we call such an action bid'ah? The hadith is in the bab of منه في اتباع الكتاب والسنة ومعرفة الحلال من الحرام عن أبي الدرداء رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سيدنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم ما أحل الله في كتابه فهو حلال وما حرم فهو حرام وما سكت عنه فهو عفو فاقبلوا من الله عافيته فإن الله لم يكن لا ينسى شيئا ثم تلا وما كان ربك نسيا. In the version found in Al-Mustadrak, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa says that ما سكت عنه فهو عفو, and he says رواه البزار والطبراني في الكبير وإسناده حسن ورجاله موثقون.
What is the question?
The question is, how can you apply the word bid'ah on someone doing an action which the Messenger ﷺ stayed silent regarding? Not those actions which he called madmoom, blameworthy, but doing those actions which he stayed silent regarding.
The hadith is authentic.
Yes, of course.
Yes. And this is regarding the things that you ask about things which may return to be difficult and new to practice. لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبد لكم تسؤكم. And this is what the people of the Jews used to be doing. They used to be asking about, just like Musa والسلام, when he said to them, إن الله يأمركم أن تذبحوا بقرة. بقرة. They started to ask. وقالوا ادع ربك يبين لنا ما هي. They wanted more details. Ask your Lord, what is it? Then tashdeed came on them. More emphasis, Allah made it more difficult on them. If something Allah did not tell you about detail, don't seek to know what Allah did not tell you to do. This is what it means. But we remain, this hadith is not contradicting. The Prophet does not say something that contradicts something else. He said, كُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. So, which means you have to confine yourself on what the Prophet ﷺ did in the matter of worship to Allah subhanahu. You have to confine yourself. This hadith must have a meaning. You are avoiding the meaning of the hadith. This hadith has a meaning. So, they said, what is it? He said, إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا فارض ولا بكر عوان بين ذلك فافعلوا ما تؤمرون. Then they asked, what is the color of it? إنه يقول إنها بقرة صفراء, not only yellow, فاقع لونها. That makes it much more difficult for them to find this, what do you call that, فاقع لونها?
Pleasing color.
Pleasing color. تسر الناظرين, this is pleasing color. فاقع. You know this marker, this is yellow marker? فاقع. And how can you find it? So, ولما شددوا شدد الله عليهم. ولذلك the Prophet ﷺ said, ذروني ما تركتكم. Leave me as long as I'm leaving you. فإنما, if you remind me the hadith, ذروني ما تركتكم فإنما أهلك من قبلكم بكثرة سؤالهم. This is another topic. It has nothing to do with the matter of innovating. As I said to you, if you explore the attitude of the Salaf, none of them, they were so strict against someone who makes bid'ah. And when people became lenient in this, we start to have a lot of innovations which cause a lot of division in the Ummah. And by the way, we don't take things out of context. The one who takes things out of context is the one who misquotes the hadith man sanna sunnati, while it has nothing to do with bid'ah, it has something to do with sadaqah. And there must be relevance, so that you must not take it out of context. We're not taking it out of context. Those who use this for the matter of bid'ah is taking it out of context. Unless they say charity is a bid'ah hasana. Thank you very much.
Question from you.
Question from your side.
7 minutes.
The 7 minutes are
So
enough.
halfway through the 15 minutes.
The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, Kullu bid'atin dalal. Bid'ah. So kullu in English means every. And you're saying that bid'ahs go to 2 sections, while the Prophet said every. I didn't understand that from you. Can you please explain more? Maybe I didn't understand it.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Al-Quran Al-Kareem, كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every nafs will taste death. And then Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Yawm al-Qiyamah, you know what is in my nafs and I do not know what is in your nafs. Meaning the nafs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never taste death. We do not believe that, but the word kullu was used. in a hadith narrated by Imam al-Nasai in Sunan, and found also in Al-Jami' al-Imam al-Tirmidhi, it mentions kullu aynin zaniya. Every eye is a fornicating eye. Every eye. Do you believe the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam with their eyes committed fornication? No, because the Anbiya alayhimu salam are ma'asum from sin, and they do not commit fornication with their eye. The word again, kullu, is used. The hadith narrated by Imam al-Bukhari in his Sahih, in the Kitab al-Tib, which mentions that the black seed oil is a cure for every disease. But the ulama have mentioned that this is aam makhsusul ba'd, that it's a general statement. There are some specifics made for this statement. And the statement of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, which mentions kullu bid'atin dalala, every innovation is misguidance, there are exceptions made for that statement also. Those exceptions are found in the examples that were provided, where for instance, in the Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari, it is mentioned that a group of people went and found a tribe who did not give them any type of food to accommodate them. And then the man was bitten with the scorpion. And then the companions were called upon, and one of them recited Surah Al-Fatiha, and then took a qati' al-ghanam. Qati' al-ghanam meaning 10 to 40 sheep from him, and then took this to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to him, how did you know to do this with Surah Al-Fatiha? Meaning he was not told by the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam to do this action, but yet he did the action, showing that the statement is general, but there are specifics to that statement. And the statement is also what the brother mentioned, Man sanna fil islami sunnatan hasanatan. Whoever instates a practice in Islam which is a good practice, فَلَهُ أَجْرُهَا وَأَجْرُ مَنْ عَمِلَ عَلَيْهَا, he will have the reward and the reward of those act upon it. And also the hadith mentions, مَنْ سَنَّ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ سُنَّةً سَيِّئًا, whoever instates in Islam an evil action. The word sunnah is used again. The explanation of sunnah has still not come. In the second statement where it says, مَنْ سَنَّ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ, it can only mean a new practice which is an evil practice. Therefore, if a new practice is instated in Islam, which is in accordance with the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and does not clash with the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that practice is allowed, as is mentioned regarding the Jam' al-Quran, as is mentioned regarding Nuqat al-Quran, the placing the dots on the Quran, which was not done in the time of the companions. There were only a few companions who were alive at that time. In the time of Hajjaj bin Yusuf, as is mentioned in the book of Al-Masahif of Ibn Abi Dawood. And then there's also Tasghir al-Mushaf, making the Mushaf small is something to do with bid'ah. Why? Because Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an said, as is mentioned by Imam Suyuti in Al-Itqan fi Ulum al-Quran, and is mentioned by Ibn Abi Dawood, that he said it's makruh, it's disliked. He disliked people writing the Quran in small writing.
Is it offensive?
And you can check that up for yourself in your own time. And this is mentioned in Al-Itqan fi Ulum al-Quran. And then the later generations, they have made the Mus'haf small. If you go to the complexes where they publish Al-Quran al-Kareem, you'll find some of the Qur'ans published small. So the examples of this can be given, many examples. For instance, Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu ta'ala an, he mentioned the hadith of climbing onto the house. The hadith mentions that Bilal radiallahu ta'ala an, as is mentioned in the Sunan of Abu Dawood, would state a dua, Oh Allah, make the Quraysh Muslims before the adhan, and he would say it out aloud. Oh Allah, make the Quraysh Muslims before doing the adhan. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam must have known of this dua of Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu ta'ala an. So there were, for instance, as is narrated in the Sahih of Imam Bukhari, that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went up in Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, and he heard the footsteps of Bilal radiallahu ta'ala an. He came back and he asked, Oh Bilal, what action do you perform? He said, after every wudu I perform 2 rak'at. He didn't perform them 2 rak'at with the knowledge of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Otherwise, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam apparently would have not asked him. So when the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, he confirmed the action of Bilal. Then also the narration in the Kanzul Ummal of Muttaqi al-Hindi, which the chain of narration of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, which mentions that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an went to the prayer of the man, which people complained that when he would finish his prayer, he would sing out poetry. And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an went, and after the man had finished his prayer, he sang out poetry, and Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an said, if any of you sings poetry, then sing like this. He did not condemn the action. There are so many examples.
Where is that?
This is in Kanzul Ummal of Muttaqi al-Hindi with the chain of narration.
It's not the book of hadith.
It's index. Also Al-Jami' al-Saghir. You'll find this in Al-Jami' al-Saghir, and you'll find the Ta'liqat of al-Munawi of this narration also. And then also, if we carry on, you go and check it. If your research is lacking, that's what you need to go and check. We also have many other, this is not the debate, but I can provide many examples which were done. If, for instance, the hadith that is found in the Sunan of Imam al-Darmi, that when Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu ta'ala an, a complaint was made to her regarding the drought, Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu ta'ala an opened the window. And this hadith is sahih, and I will prove it in the Tawassul debate that this hadith is sahih. And she opened the door, the window, and this was not in the time of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Okay, I'd like to ask you a question now. Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala, whenever he would finish the Quran, he would call his family and his children and make dua at the khatam of the Quran. This is in the Tabarani, and the Rijal of this hadith and the Sanad are sahih. And there is no thabit sunnah. And the Rijal of this hadith, this Sanad, are thiqah. They're good.
Yeah.
Now, there is no sunnah.
Is it authentic?
Well, of course.
No. That shows the lack of your knowledge.
Alhamdulillah.
I'll tell you why.
Okay, please.
If Al-Haythami says rijaluhu thiqat, that doesn't mean it's authentic.
Well, I'll give you muhaddith and you just accept it.
No, give me an answer to my question. Give me an answer to my question. Scholars said that if he said it, it doesn't mean that it's authentic, because there might be some other ilal. Because the fiqh, the trustworthy, excuse me, you ask this question, you should not be stopping me. This is not a debate now. You're asking me. You're ignoring that there are ilal, problems that occur with those trustworthy people. Trustworthiness is not enough. There might be some other problems with the scholars, such as the lightness of his memory, the lack of his memory at the end of his life, something like this. There are many other problems. It has something to do with al-shadh, al-mu'allal bil-inqita', al-mu'allal. So it's not enough to say rijaluhu rijal al-sahih, and scholars mentioned this. And he said to me, and you laughed at me, and you made people laugh. They didn't know. They should be laughing at you. I'm so sorry to say that. Come on.
I think you didn't ask my question.
No, it's not a debate. I'm not going to answer one more. But my advice, when you bring something, make sure it's authentic. And don't say to people, go and check it.
Would you care if I go to the bathroom?
Please.
What's the question? Your last question.
Due to conscious belief, I think I've really benefited from being here because I understood your perspective, and I respect the matters that you guys are actually sensitive about, and I wouldn't mock you for that. But there's just a couple of things I just wanted to ask. The Shaykh, he stated that the scholars had difficulty classifying things as BIDAH hasana. So you guys said that we've got ulama that have given us the authority to introduce new practices. What type of ulama, who are these ulama that have permitted you to introduce new matters? And as the Shaykh stated at the beginning, and we really want to know, because we don't consider you guys as Kafirs, we consider you as Muslims, but we didn't get any salams as we walked in. And I just want to confirm. That's the same. Just lay it, man. I'm here, I want to benefit. Do you think we are Kafirs?
Okay, I'll answer both questions. First one.
No, he should not be answering this question, because the one who said that to you is brother. What's his name, brother?
Yes. I will answer. Okay. First, with regard to the first question, when Yahya bin Ma'in, rahimahullah ta'ala, was asked that regarding the one who says Khalqul Quran, he said to them in reply, this is bid'ah. They said to him, what type of bid'ah? What type of bid'ah? Bid'atun hasana? They asked him, is it a good type of bid'ah? He said, la, bid'atun sayyi'ah. This definition was found in the early times of the Salaf. We provided the qawl of Imam Shafi'i radiallahu anhu, where he mentioned in the Sirah Alam al-Nubala, the two narrators that he weakened are found in other narrations of the narration found in the Sirah Alam al-Nubala. This narration is not only found in Sirah Alam, it's found in the work of Al-Bayhaqi, it's found in the work Manaqib al-Imam Shafi'i of Ibn al-Jawzi, and this narration is also found in Hilyatul Awliya, but not just one narration. not just one narration. There are many narrations with different chains, and this has been established that to the extent that later Shafi'i scholars have said that has been attributed to Imam Shafi'i authentically. Then the later Shafi'i schools, the scholars of the Shafi'i school, for instance, you brothers had the conference of Imam al-Nawawi. Imam al-Nawawi's position on the Taqsim al-Bid'ah is quite clear. We have here Kitab al-Adhkar, and with the commentary of Ibn Allan. In Kitab al-Adhkar, he mentions the Taqsim al-Bid'ah as being 5 types. In the Sharh of Sahih Muslim, he mentions the Taqsim of Bid'ah being 5 types. In the work Tahdhib al-Asma' wal-Lughat, he mentions the Taqsim of Bid'ah, and Imam al-Nawawi rahmahullah is a hujjah in the Shafi'i school. He asked us about the masah of the grave. Yes, when we say makruh in the Hanafi school, it means makruh tahriman min haram. Meaning haram. In the Hanafi school, it is not allowed to touch the grave. We do not endorse that practice. We do not make tawaf around graves. We do not do sajda to graves. So, then, in the Shafi'i school, if you check the works of Al-Ramli, you will find Taqsim al-Bid'ah. If you check the works of Imam Suyuti, like Al-Hawili al-Fatawi and other works, you will find Taqsim al-Bid'ah. If you check the commentary of Hashiyat al-Sindi of the Sunan ibn Majah, you will find Taqsim al-Bid'ah. In the Shafi'i school, if you check the work of Izz ibn Abdus Salam, yes, Izz ibn Abdus Salam did have a difference of opinion with Ibn Salah. They had a difference of opinion regarding Salatul Raghaib, which was published, and they refuted each other. This is true, but they did not differ regarding Taqsim al-Bid'ah. This is what we are discussing. We can discuss other things, whether they fall into which category. That is a separate subject. Meaning which certain things fall into which category. Does this one fall into Bid'ah Hasana? They did differ over these things, but we are not discussing that. We are discussing their categorization of Bid'ah. Then if you check...
What I'm asking is who endorsed the new practices that you allowed?
The discussion currently is not the new practices. The discussion is whether there are 2 types of Bid'ah, good or bad.
You said, okay, the topic is Bid'ah. I'm talking about Bid'ah, introduced matters in the religion. And I'm asking, who has endorsed?
This was endorsed by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself.
You're talking about, okay, you're talking about the definitions. You told me about. You told me about
specific practices. You're talking.
I'm talking about specific practices.
Specific practices. This is brother. You have to understand. First, you have principles. Let me explain.
I understand.
But you know, if you want to talk about Mawlid, for instance,
you told me about the principles, and I respect that. But what we're talking about now is the bid'ahs that you've introduced. Like you clearly say that these are hasana. Whereas we disagree. The Shaykh has mentioned. Okay, just so we can talk about the celebration of the Prophet's birthday. Okay. Which type of? I'm just trying to understand. I'm not trying to debate you because I am very late. Okay. I'm just saying which type of scholars or who endorses these type of practices.
When you say this type, it's very vague. I'm talking about Mawlid. Okay, with regard to Mawlid, as the brother claimed, that in certain books of Tariq, he quoted certain books of Tariq, that has been refuted by Imam Suyuti, that the Mawlid was not innovated by the Fatimi Shia. The Ayyubis, Sultan Salahuddin rahimahullah under Nuruddin Azangi was also Ash'ari, and Salahuddin was also Ash'ari, and they were both Sufi as well. When he took over Egypt, he done away with the Fatimi kingdom, and he done away with their institutes. The Ayyubis placed the practice of Mawlid. Why? Because and Ibn al-Athir in Al-Nihaya mentions the practice of a Mawlid being done in his time also. He mentions that the people would open the door of the Kaaba and they would celebrate the birth of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then certain scholars were asked regarding this, is this bid'ah hasana or is this bid'ah sayyi'ah? And Imam Suyuti rahimahullah wrote a whole book on the subject proving that the practice of the commemoration of the Mawlid of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a bid'ah hasana and falls into bid'ah hasana. In Iqtida'u Sirat al-Mustaqim, Ibn Taymiyyah mentions that some people have innovated a Mawlid which they deem good, and Allah will reward them for that. And in Al-BIDAH wa Nihaya,
because of their ignorance, they didn't know.
Ibn Kathir,
don't misquote Ibn Taymiyyah.
We check.
No.
Ibn Kathir mentions in Al-BIDAH wa Nihaya.
So they'll be rewarded for their love to the Prophet.
Al-BIDAH wa Nihaya, and Ibn Kathir mentions
the Mawlid practice, and he even wrote a pamphlet on Mawlid. Ibn Kathir, you can check this in Iqtidar
Debate about Mawlid, please. He's not asking these things.
He asked about specific bid'ah. He asked about specific. If you want to know about that, then this was based on there's an asl for this in the Sunnah also. The scholars gave that fatwa. Ibn Hajar al-Haytami in his Fatawa al-Hadithiyah also gave the verdict for the validity of a Mawlid. And Ibn Hajar al-Haytami also wrote a separate work on Mawlid.
Ibn Arabi said all creations are one.
Ibn Arabi, we're not discussing Ibn Arabi.
Yeah, but he's deviant. He loves Ibn Arabi. And Ibn Hajar said Ibn Arabi is dal.
We're not discussing Ibn Arabi, rahimahullah ta'ala.
He's deviant. We say he's deviant.
You say he's deviant. I didn't quote Ibn Arabi. I quoted Ibn Hajar. I quoted, yes.
He has a book.
Yes, because he also calls Ibn Taymiyyah things as well.
So it seems this is a lecture.
Mentioning this, yes. Let me answer my question. So certain scholars of certain scholars of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah allow the practice of Mawlid, and this is mentioned. If you check the books of the four schools, if you check the book, they based it on the ahadith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam would fast every Monday, as is mentioned in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, and he was asked, why do you fast on every Monday? He said, it is the day I was born on, and I wish to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Do this, but don't dance.
And also, we do not dance. Also, do this. Also, hadith narrated by Imam al-Bukhari, Imam al-Bukhari, that when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wa sallam was born,
ask a single question at a time.
When the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wa sallam was born, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wa sallam was born, Abu Lahab freed his slave girl, Thuwayba, and when he freed her with a finger like this, Ibn Abbas, the Mufassir al-Quran, says that when he saw Abbas radiallahu anh, says when he saw Abu Lahab in his grave being punished, he asked him, what has happened to you? He said, I am punished 6 days a week, but every Monday I am given water to drink from this finger for having freed the slave girl on the birth of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And last point, if people do haram acts, we're not here for a debate.
Brother, the question's been posed over there. Why?
If people do haram acts in the Mawlid, if they do haram acts in the Mawlid, then it is bid'ah sayyi'ah. If they do haram acts. If they keep it halal, reading hadith, meeting up and reciting madhul nabi, this is halal and bid'ah hasana.
Because they love the Prophet, right? But the companions don't love the Prophet, they did not do it.
I got a question. Either salam one. Can I answer you?
You know what? Inshallah, if you can all do that.
Okay.
Did you ask me a question about why you say
on the salam, we do not give salam to Ahlul Bid'ah. Why? Because, and I'll tell you what the bid'ah was. Yesterday, your Shaykh said that the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wasalam commit sins. Yes? He's nodding now.
They're mistakable.
They're mistakable. And you nodded when I said they can commit sins.
When you got angry with me, why didn't you refute my verses of the Quran?
Irrelevant.
Why?
He challenged you for debate. I challenge you to a debate on that issue. Yes. Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi, Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi in his tafsir, he's written in his tafsir, each verse he quoted, Imam Razi explained the real explanation of that verse. Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi wrote an independent risala. Al-Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi, rahimahullah ta'ala.
Your Shaykh said, don't say that.
Al-Imam Fakhruddin.
Are you the one who said it?
لا نقلده نحن نقلد الإمام أبي حنيفة رحمه الله.
They don't know that. They don't know. They're surprised.
I forgot to tell you that Buddha Rashid is a student of Hafid Mu'min Eternal as well. That's one there. I forgot to
Okay. Look, Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi wrote a pamphlet in defense of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam explaining that those verses are from the, in fact, can be misunderstood by deviants. Even Al-Qadiyaniyah, the deviant sect who believe in another prophet, even they quote Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Even they quote verses of Al-Quran Al-Kareem. And they understand their verses with their own stupid heads. Are we going to take their interpretations as valid? No, we must refer back to the scholars. And Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi, he mentioned about Ibn Hajar in Lisanul Mizan. Ibn Hajar, there were so many Fakhruddin al-Razis, you probably could not even distinguish which Fakhruddin was.
To summarize.
And if you don't believe in this, then we give you salam. That belief, to believe Anbiya commit sins, is a deviant belief. Anyone who believes this, we don't give them salam, because a Christian can come to you tomorrow and say, how do you know your Sharia is perfect if your Prophet committed sins? If your Prophet was prone to sinning, how do you know your Sharia is protected? This is a deviant belief. This is a deviant belief.
Like us.
No one.
Musa said, Al-Khadr, don't pardon me for my
the last question?
For my forgetfulness. I forgot.
We can do a debate on this. The question was asked, why you